Welcome to Streamers on episode 8. Um, Streamers Unmasked. This is the podcast where we get to find out about the real lives, loves, and maybe even why did I want to do this? Streaming and content creation in general, whether it's on Twitter, TikTok, on and on. Very, very difficult. You started content creating just play the game, show off, or maybe trying to come big. No matter the reason you started streaming, there are different people that you are competing, and there are a million different people that you're competing, and there's about 1,000 different variables that second shit. It is not easy. Yourself on the line. You're putting yourself out there at possibility there. Those are everyday people, real lives, feelings, situations. Name of the podcast comes from a poem by Paul Lawrence. Wear the mask. Wear the mask that grins and lies, hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. Step we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouthed with myriad subtleties. Why should the world counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh great Christ, our cries. But let the world.
I've got the stream muted. I'm just hearing you through Discord.
Hello, hello. I don't understand. Whatever. Okay, that seems. I don't know. I don't know what partially off means. Okay. So the way I read this poem is that every day in our lives we go out and we wear a mask. We hide ourselves, hide some of our true feelings, and always tell everybody that we're doing good, whether or not we are. And especially as streamers, we're coming out with the intent, but putting ourselves on the line and wearing maybe a bigger and fancier mask than other people. So the way the podcast works is I'm going to do IRL questions, gaming questions, streaming questions, audience questions, and then we'll finish off at the end. I just do. But without further ado, because I met here on Twitch, JourneymanB. Welcome to the. How are you doing?
Yo, what's up? I'm doing great, man.
I have no idea why this is being. I'll just turn this up. How are you doing today? Are you excited to be here, friend?
Yeah, man. I've been looking forward to it. When you asked me the other day on your stream, you're like, well, I hope you didn't forget, and I hope you're still on. I was like, yeah, dude. Like, I got off work today and everything, and I mean, not like specifically for this, but like, I got all kinds of stuff done today. Yeah. What's up, folks? I appreciate it.
The mic thing is being so weird. I don't know why it's doing. So just some basic stuff. Why don't we start with how old you are, where you're from, what?
Well, I'm 37. I actually just turned 37 on the 3rd of this month. So actually, Falcon is like somewhat correct. I'm not a 1986 Ford Taurus. I'm a 1984 Taurus, but you know it's pretty close. But yeah, 37. I grew up in California until I was 18, and then I've been living in Texas ever since. So I'm literally like half Californian and half Texan, as crazy as that may sound. As far as what I do for a living, most of my career has been in the automotive industry. in various forms. I've worked at parts warehouses. I was a performance technician for like 5 years. I've sold parts. I've built engines. Uh, yeah, and I've like always looking for that next step to get to be like their service writer, the guy that is the intermediary between the customer and the technicians and stuff. They make damn good money, and I feel like I'd be good at it, but that's a rough gig to get into, so it's been a struggle.
So basically, you can do all the things that I have no idea how to do. Period.
Not necessarily. I
Not
mean,
necessarily.
when I was a technician, like I did performance stuff. Like we'd take people that like blew their cars up, trying to modify them and shit, and they'd bring us their cars. We'd pull the engines out, build them, bigger turbos, tune them, stuff like that. So I can't like exactly transition straight into a dealership as a technician. Like, hey, we need you to diagnose this ABS problem and this, and then change like window regulators and shit. I would have no idea what I was doing.
Well, that is so very interesting. I mean, as I said, I don't think I would have any. I mean, actually, no, I would have no idea up, down, left, or right. So I do waste my way around the car. I take it to somebody like you, and I'm just like, I don't know what's broken, but you gotta fix it. Making a noise. It's not working right.
Yeah, those are always good. It's like it's making a noise, and then like every technician is like, can you describe the noise? Oh, check this out, guys. This is gonna be great.
This actually happened the other day. They were like, what kind of noise? And I'm just like, it's like a buzz. Like, so it's like a rattling sound. I'm like, now that you mention it, it is more of a rattling sound. I was going with more of a bang.
You
Oh.
gotta like give some kind of real life comparison as to what it sounds like. It sounds like someone's shaking a can in the back of my vehicle, and the can is full of marbles, and something like that.
It's a full can of marbles. I know all the words. I know the best words. Um,
Yep.
what is your educational background, sir?
Well, I mean, I graduated high school at a normal time, which is honestly, I didn't deserve it. I didn't do jack shit in high school. I was not good at school, period. It's not like that I wasn't good at it. I just didn't care, like, at all. There was just so many other things on my mind as a teenage boy, as you might imagine, in high school. I got my driver's license as soon as I turned 16, and I got a car as soon as I turned 16. It was it wasn't the fastest thing out there, but like I loved it with a freaking passion. So school wasn't really on my mind, even when I was at school. It was cars and girls and parties. That was my life.
How about your family? What's your family unit like, bud?
Um, my wife and I have been married for 2 years. We were together for like over six before that, and we both have kids from previous relationships. They're both actually right around the same age. They're both boys, so they're 12 and 13. So that actually like works out pretty well. They're brothers. They've been brothers for the longest time as far as they're concerned. But yeah, we've been together for a long time. The boys are good. They've they've been they've been brothers for the past 8 years that they've been alive.
Now see the top of your head, Journey. Congratulations, you now have the top.
Hey,
Do you have
got
any
my hair did today.
Do you have any hobbies outside of Twitch?
Um, Fixing things, gaming, obviously. Uh, any little thing that I can do to spice up the PC setup is nice. When things break around the house, like I learned from my grandpa at a young age that like just because something is broken, that doesn't mean that it should be thrown away. So like I keep like a little work corner, like this or that stopped working, and like okay, just put it over here. I will take it apart. Um, Worst case scenario is that it still doesn't work, and I have to throw the parts away, and we'll get a new one. But don't subscribe to like the throwaway society that we have now, where it's like, oh, this thing's broken, it's junk, get rid of it. I want to open it up and see what's wrong, what happened, can I fix it?
I think the only thing I've ever done that with is like a controller or like a where you take it apart and it's the whole like I can all put it back together and then like it works a little bit better than when you broke it, but Or in my case,
It's
sorry.
still not
It works
100%.
it works a little bit better than when you broke it, but when you broke it, like the volume button wasn't working and now you can't hit the dash button or whatever.
Yeah, we went through a flood. God, was it? Yeah, 2017. Um, and like I had this brilliant idea. Like, okay, well, no matter how high the water gets, I'm gonna set all my electronics up real high up on my dresser, right? So that even if the water gets real high, it won't get to this stuff. Failed to plan for was the fact that the dresser was gonna float once the water level got high enough. So my computer got dumped. Took like a 3 or 4 foot fall. My PS3 did also. So that was like first things that needed to be handled. So I basically took my PS3 apart. Everything was fucked. It was full of flood water and stuff. Cleaned everything. Still didn't work. That the power supply was busted. A buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I have this PS3 that like none of the disk stuff works. The hard drive doesn't work. Sure, the power supply is good." So I was like, "Hey, what do you want for it?" He's like, "Dude, don't worry about it. Just take it." So I took the two broken PS3s, and put them together. Made one working one, and it's still working now today. So I'm pretty proud of that.
There, I think when I got my PS3, it was around the same time. It was like maybe 2017. I bought one. And it was so PS4. Here, you can have a PS3 for $60 or a PS4 that still costs 300 or some shit like that back in the time when I bought it. And I literally picked mine based off of what Final Fantasy games were available.
That's not a bad way to go.
It was literally like, can I play, like, I wanted to play all the Final Fantasies in order, so can I play 1, 2, and 3 on the PS4? And they're like, no. I'm like, what about PS3? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll pick that one. What are your music interests?
Um, Primarily, I would say him. Um, and even that's a whole another mess of subgenres and stuff. So, man, I don't even know where to go down the rabbit hole there. But I'd say in order, it'd be like EDM, hip hop, rock. That's mostly what I listen to. I'll give anything a chance. I know like a lot of people are just like, oh, I listen to everything. And I think that's horseshit because it won't. Like you put on something, you're gonna find something to put on, and they're like, "Oh, this is crap." But really, the only things that I would not be into, like mumble rap, country, and just straight like hardcore death metal. Other than that, they're pretty good.
Your favorite band?
Oh boy, like of all time, man, that's
All time,
tough to
right
say.
now, yesterday.
I mean, I want to put something on, and like no matter what mood I'm in, I'm gonna get into it. It's probably gonna be Metallica. That's like a big chunk of my childhood, and it never gets old to me.
I think people who like Metallica, I like some of it. I'm not a huge. I think that Metallica fans could literally put on 4 Metallica CDs in a row and they're just vibe out.
Yeah, there's several albums that you can just play from start to finish, and they're dope. That's probably like the sign of a good artist, really, or artists.
you, how do you watch TV? Do you have cable? Do you have Netflix? How do you handle it? Situation?
I haven't had cable for probably 10 years, and I don't miss it a bit. Uh, um, yeah, Netflix, Hulu, and like it's been Netflix for a long time. Like I've been watching Netflix since DVDs, right? The whole we send you a couple of DVDs and you mail them back kind of thing. That's how far back I go with Netflix. YouTube is always you know um, it's always there, and like everything has just become so much more accessible as time goes on. There's still no reason that anybody's going to convince me to get cable. So yeah, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, major streaming services, YouTube. If I need to watch baseball, I can stream that online through very legal sources. Wink, wink.
Very legal sources.
Yes, it's 100% legal streaming live. No blackouts whatsoever.
100% legal all of the time. Um,
Yes.
what's your favorite movie?
Oh man, I got a handful of those. A buddy of mine, like sometimes after work, we'll kick it and have a few beers and like he's like he rolls with his TV like in the back of his car and it's a smart TV. We just like watch movies and YouTube shit and just kind of unwind after work. And like we've kind of had this conversation. It's like there's probably at least 3 or 4 movies that I could think of that I could watch once a month for the rest of my life and be totally good with it. And I think a few of those, probably Aliens, honestly. Aliens might be the top, but like Aliens, Tombstone, Braveheart's probably up there. Event Horizon is also really good. I mean, obviously you can kind of see a pattern here. Sci-fi is kind of where I'm at.
So parent, I told you that my kids were here earlier, right? And then my wife's just like, "You're really quiet," and I tried everything. And then there's my microphone comes with a gain at the bottom. It was
Oh, they
turned.
messed
It
with it,
was,
didn't they?
dude. It was thrown all the way down. Like it was in the negatives, and I'm just like, I don't understand. Like I haven't touched anything. Of course, it's like them. They come in, they're just like, do your kids ever do that? That's a great question. I can ask another father. Do your kids come in and just like smack your stuff?
They're both kind of older now, so like they know the rules of being around my computer or using my computer. They're 12 and 13, so like
Yeah.
they know the rules. My wife, though, my wife doesn't give a fuck. She's just like, I'll move this monitor over here. I'm gonna move your webcam over here. I had to readjust everything when I sat down to come do this. But no, actually, when my kid was much younger, he must have been like 5 or something like that. I had an old tower and I didn't know shit, so I set it like directly on the floor. That was a bad idea, especially if you have young kids. It had an empty bay in it, and
Oh
it's
no.
like I don't know if the piece that was filling that spot was like broken out or what. I don't know. I had that computer for a long ass time. But I went to like move out of that place and I picked up my computer and I just heard something rattling around. I was like, dude, that's not good. You don't want to hear loose parts in your computer.
I thought that was a
So
good
I like
sign.
took the case off and there was just a Matchbox car just floating around in there. I was like, okay. I'm glad that didn't like make contact with anything and trash anything. His
Oh
daddy would
man.
not be happy.
I can't- I think the most expensive thing that one of my children have ever broken was a Apple laptop. It was like a $2,000 laptop that I bought. I
Ooh.
had it for years. This is the only reason why I didn't get mad. Okay, my son got the tiniest bit of water on it. I had it for 5 years. So, what's the most expensive thing your children have ever broken?
Honestly, as far as like dollar value goes, I can't think of anything of mine that they've like destroyed like that or anything. There was one time where, Breath of the Wild, the way that Nintendo stuff works, you have to have your own profile, and then you
Yeah.
have like one save game for that profile. So my son was like, he wanted to play Breath of the Wild. I was like, cool, man, go ahead. Like, I didn't think I needed to explain that situation at
Delete.
all. He gets on there on my profile and just like starts a new game and deletes this save that I had, I don't even know, like 40 or 50 hours into. And once I figured out that that happened, like we were all in the room together, and they both looked at me like, "Oh my God!" Like, like my wife gave me this look like, "I'm so sorry," and my kid gave me this look like, "I'm gonna be in trouble for fucking ever. Like, this is my life is over." And I was just like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Like, I love that game so much, I will start a new
I'll
playthrough.
just
I don't
play.
even
I'll just
care.
play those 50 hours again.
Like, yeah, what did I have left to
Taking
do in the
off
game
work
anyway?
for
Just,
taking off work
I
for the
just,
weekend. Everybody, don't worry.
yeah. It's like, what am I gonna do? Just go kill Ganon with like 18 hearts? That's not even a challenge. So hell, I'll just start a new game. Don't even worry about it.
Well, at least
But,
it's a stone's throw better than like the memory card days, right? Like the memory cards where you used to have to like decide which save file you were gonna delete, like which 100-hour RPG save file was gonna go away, so you could start a new 100-hour RPG. And it was always just like
uh, The old days, right? Of like 1 megabyte memory
Yeah, just
cards.
like that, just like that. So
That
you have one handy. I don't even have one.
yeah,
I don't.
it's
I don't know if I know I have partitions on like my PlayStation for something like that, but I don't have an actual physical memory card anymore. Well, no, I got rid of it. I gave it to my friend. I had a GameCube that had one, and I got rid of um all my retro games because he's a big collector of video games and stuff, and I never used it, so I was just like, well, I'm not gonna use it. You have a collection. Here's my GameCube and a bunch of my old NES games and stuff like that. So I gave that to him, but
See, I'm the other way around. Like I had this stuff back in the day, but like I never collected the stuff back in the day. Like I would always just upgrade to the next system. We had at one point we had a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis. So like we always liked the Super Nintendo better. Like half of the time, most of the good games they shared platforms, and you could get the same games on the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo had 6 buttons, so it was like I think we traded in the Genesis to get games for the Super Nintendo, and then once the PlayStation had been out for a while, I traded in my Super Nintendo and all my games to get like a used PlayStation and 2 games or something. It's just like been a slow trade in the old for the new. So now I'm finally like going back and like, no shit, I want this. I want a physical copy of this. I just bought a PS2 not too long ago. Freaking, you don't want to know. I mean, I'll tell you, but you don't want to know how much Lunar costs.
ninety
I
six
never made it to
dollars,
any
96,
more.
112.
It was 120, I think.
I think the last copy of
Yeah.
Lunar I saw was about 5 or 6 years ago. I went to a local place that sells games like that. It's called Sound Go Around, and it was just under 100. So I guess
Oh,
going up from then. And I didn't know the game either. So whereas you know and love the game, speedrun it, I
yeah.
don't know it
It's
at all.
those things are gonna appreciate. And there is no digital version of it available. Period. There's the digital version's available for like the PSP or whatever, but the actual PS1 version,
Not for
nope,
long.
not available.
They're getting taken down the store for the PSP and the PS3.
No, from what I heard, there was like a whole bunch of backlash on that, and they reversed that decision. They're
Oh,
like, okay,
really?
shit, yeah,
Well, it's funny
like
'cause I
Sony
heard
was
about it
like,
it's funny how you hear about it when the news comes out, but you don't always hear about it when the backlash. I mean, you hear about the backlash sometimes, but you don't hear about it when they're like, okay, fine. And that makes sense though, because the PS3 store, just in my experience, I bought Legend of Dragoon. I bought the first 9 Final Fantasies on it.
wow,
Maybe it was 10. I bought Vagrant Story and a whole bunch of other stuff that I never got a chance to play, like God Hand and weird stuff like that. When I got the PS3, I just went on a spree. Ooh, Legend of Mana. Where's the Secret of Mana?
oh, that
I
one.
don't know which is which, but I played one of those two.
Secret of Mana is on Super Nintendo. Legend of Mana was PS1.
Okay, so it was Legend of Mana. So I played Legend of Mana too, and that was all on there. So I mean, also the whole you can buy it all on the PS5 store only works if you own a PS5.
Yeah,
So if
and
they're
to
like,
be
yeah,
honest,
but we're gonna convert them all to PS5, and then dudes like me are here like, I barely own a PS4, so
yeah, I have a PS2 here and a PS3. I didn't even get a PS4. Like during that time, again, like after the flood happened, I rebuilt my freaking computer after that too. I was like one of these guys that just buys like a Dell and then pays them. I don't know what they charged for it. It was like another $200 to make it a gaming computer or some crappy 2 gig gaming video card, and that like fell off the dresser as well and was submerged in water, and everything was fucked on it basically except for the CPU. So my buddy was like, "Hey, dude, I can let me show you how to do this. We can do this together." Blah blah blah. Took my CPU, put it into another computer, and it was like the case on this thing looked like it had a floppy drive on it and shit. I was like, "Wow, this is just old school and ghetto, but it gamed really well." And he's like, "Dude, for $200 you can just have all this." I was like, "Okay, done." And that was like that started the PC bug. Okay, so when it came to getting a PS4 or PS5, I don't care.
so do you build your PCs then? Oh yeah, I know you do because we were talking about it, and I was like, hey, if I have to get a new system because I was having issues with my laptop, my desktop replacement kind of style one that I use for streaming. I was like, hey, I got the perfect one scoped out, and you're one of the people who were sitting there like, don't do it, man. Get off that ledge. Just you gotta build it, man. You gotta build it. And I'm just like, I'm still that person who's just like, I'm just gonna buy a $2,000 MSI tower that has way more power than I will ever need, and I'll be safe with my Best Buy Geek Squad.
Yeah, again, you could have saved yourself probably $500, but
I still haven't
that's
gotten it yet because I think
yeah.
part of the conversation was, I mean, I can't even show it. I tried to, but I have two laptops. They're like low end gaming ones. The thing about the gaming laptop, these ones were like $600. We got them for school. Thing about them is the loading speeds and stuff. Even when you're just doing schoolwork, it's so much better with like an SSD running through it. So I'm kind of on the quality end, not the. I'll pay a couple hundred more for a silly, what is it, Nitro 5 Acer gaming laptop instead of like the HP. I don't even know what the standard model is. Just so I have like the niceties of like when we have to do schoolwork, literally just open it up. Like I accidentally just closed it and it shut down, and now it's, with the exception of something my kids downloaded on it, now it's back up and running.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely perks to having laptops, and I just bought my wife one too, and she's like, "Does it need this, and that?" And I'm
It
just
does.
like,
Yep.
I mean, it needs to have an SSD. That's a
No, you
fact.
had like literally. I'm in a once you go SSD, like
Yeah, you'll go back.
once you have your first system with an SSD in it of any kind. So my big laptop, I had a 256 SSD, and it has a hard drive that's a terabyte. And I was accidentally downloading all my Steam games to the SSD, even though I had a Steam file. I have no idea what happened. Like pathways got mixed up or something, and I was wondering where the space went. But the SSD, even full with only 5 GB left, it was still it just boots up and goes. Like, I need, like, if I have it turned off and I need to run a stream within 5 minutes, we're good. So once you get an SSD, I don't think you could ever go back.
Yeah, I've got a 500 gig NVMe SSD, so it's like part of the motherboard now
Yeah,
that holds all the operating system critical
beautiful.
programs and stuff. Got a 1 terabyte um, SSD just for my Steam library, and then a 2 terabyte mechanical drive for media and stuff.
All right, okay.
Yeah, once you go
I'm
SSD,
over here in computer land and gaming right now. Let's go back to a little bit more of the real life stuff.
right, yeah, go ahead.
Do you cook, Journey? Do you cook?
Oh yeah,
What kind of food do you
yeah.
cook?
Um, I have like a nice little realm that I usually like to stay into. Is like if I'm gonna cook something, I like it to cover a few criteria. Like it's got to be reason. Well, it doesn't have to be, but generally, if I cook, it's gonna be reasonably healthy. It's gonna be reasonably cheap, and like if possible, all done in one pan. That's the optimal meal for me. So like a stir fry, that's perfect.
Spinach and eggs.
Chicken,
That's what came to mind when you
vegetables,
said
rice,
your
eggs.
description. Now is spinach with eggs and like whatever other vegetables you want to put in it.
No, no, just as long as it's you know again covers those three criteria, I'm good. We also just cook a whole lot of Mexican food. Like, I mean, it's not authentic Mexican. I am not
No,
Mexican,
it's like
but
the Tex-Mex that we grow up on here. I
I
understand
would
that.
look to think of myself as an honorary Mexican. Like when we meal prep, it's like okay, here's tacos, here's like a taco salad kind of thing. You know, uh, nachos are in play, fajitas. You know,
I
whatever.
love
We,
I love all kinds of, I guess, Mexican and Latin American food. But like if like my wife, she'll ask me sometimes. She'll be like, "What do you want to eat?" And then I'll tell her, and she'll be like, "Oh, I already knew it." Like there's a little Mexican place on the Parkway where we live, and it's just like, yeah, I want that. Like if I can choose one thing, we're gonna get the same thing every. I'm not gonna get the same dish too because that's the person I am. They have like a sampler platter kind of situation, and I will always go for that. I mean,
you know what trips
honestly,
me out though? I'm glad that you asked me if I cook because like I'll bring stuff to work because like I don't like eating freaking fast food. Like it's It's handy and sometimes it's tasty, but most of the time it's just freaking crap and like
Yeah.
so sick of it. Especially like when you work in the same place for a long time, you know all of those fast food places around there and you're probably sick of every bit of it. So like the other night I made uh, a bunch of pico de gallo, put corn in it, black beans, chopped up a bunch of chicken, chicken thighs to be specific, chopped it all up, threw it in there, and then just ate it with chips. And I bring that to work, and my coworker's like, "Oh man, it must be nice to have a wife that cooks for you like that." I'm like, "Fool, I made this."
Oh no. Oh
Men
no,
just
yeah.
can't cook.
I've been doing so I've been doing way more cooking now than I was before. Um I hope I'm doing enough cooking now because my wife's working and I'm not. It's just how the situation works out. She's working, so I just don't can't as much. So I'm doing way more cooking, and I could only imagine like same situation where I mean I work in a kitchen though, so it's not like I bring in food and anyone's gonna be surprised I knew what I was making. Not that I was before. No, I wasn't. I'll be the first one to be like, oh yeah, no, I wasn't. I wasn't. I try. I fail. I try. But Mexican food's
Well,
definitely like if I had to pick one thing to eat weekly to make it home or to go out, it would definitely be like, well, we're gonna have a Mexican night.
I don't know. Like, we can make enough decent Mexican stuff at home. If we're gonna go out to eat, like, actually, I think my son doesn't live with me. He lives with his mom. But I think we're gonna make it a tradition now. Like every time I pick him up, we're gonna go eat pho every time. Pho is just like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but it's Vietnamese noodle soup. It is, dude, it's heavenly.
It's similar-ish to ramen, not quite the same, right? Like it's got different
Um,
toppings and the noodles are different, obviously, but it's kind of a similar idea.
yeah, instead of like egg noodles, they're rice noodles, and the broth is totally different. The broth is like it's made like overnight. It's a bone broth. Like they take a bunch of bones and stuff and just like, slow simmer them overnight with a whole bunch of different spices and stuff. And the broth is like, I mean, it's a soup, so you would expect this, but like the broth is the star of the show. So there's like, yeah, noodles in there and onions, green onions, and beef and stuff like that, but the broth is the real star.
I mean, I
Whenever
think that's
I
the
go to this
situation
place,
with anything like that. It's the broth and then the toppings with whether it's any kind of a soup noodle situation. It's going to be what broth you're using and then what your toppings are. As what's going to be the star, what's going to elevate it from just rice noodles or ramen or whatever it is.
like once I have most of the ingredients like out of the bowl, I'm picking up the bowl and
Oh yeah.
it's going bottoms up. It's just that good, dude.
I really wish there was a
That's gonna be
place.
a tradition now.
It should. I wish I could even have that. There's no place to eat that kind of food where I live. We have no ramen places. I mean, we have 150 pizza places because I live in New York. So like, there's eight different style pizzas. Like, you want sheet pizza? We got a place. You want round pizza? We got a
That's crazy.
place. Yeah, we
New
have
York, like figure that would be like a freaking a big melting pot where there'd be all
I
kinds of food out
I
there.
actually it's funny because where I live by a university, and the university gets a lot of foreign students. And I was recently talking to my wife. I was like, because I bitch about it because I like ramen. I really like ramen, and we don't have a place. Like literally, with all the different students that are coming over, you have a bunch of Asian students that come over from like Korea, China, Japan, and such. And we also have like Turkish students and other students that are like Middle Eastern and what like there's just like a big foreign exchange thing going on over where so I'm like I don't understand like instead of the 18th pizza place over on the Parkway like I swear one place opens up a ramen place and it's just gonna fucking boom, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know if you think about it. If they're like over here, they probably get here and they're like, "Oh, let's go eat cheeseburgers or
No,
something."
no, yeah, they probably I mean when I was going to school, I knew a couple people, and it's half and half. It's the cheeseburgers and the American style foods. It's like how like a Mexican. I think Rebecca was saying how like they go for like Mexican food because American Mexican food isn't actually Mexican food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's that, but it's also like, and they'll bring the comfort foods from home. Like they'll bring the traditional um Turkish cuisines, or like special order, or like I knew a couple people who got very special, specific um Japanese traditional ramen that they got delivered, that was like a brand that you couldn't get around here. You had to get it like actually shipped over. So it's like half and half from my experience with the students. That is, they're not like, they're also younger too. They're not like traveling. They're there for a long time. So the first month is all new stuff, and then after that they're homesick and they're just like wanting some comfort. And then
Makes
of course
sense.
the 200 proof alcohol that somebody brought at one point. But let's not talk about that. It was 180. It was some really
Yeah.
it was some Taiwanese what was it, lighter fluid basically. No,
Like
it was like
it could be
180
if you were at a pinch.
it was 180 181 proof or something like that. It was crazy. He's like, this isn't legal. I'm like, no, it's not. You're not allowed to have that anywhere in the States.
Yeah, that has not been cleared by any sort of government
I
agency at
don't even.
all.
Honestly, now that we're talking about it, I have no idea how he got it. Like, no idea how he got it here. He definitely didn't go to a liquor store around here. He brought it from home. So, good on him for managing to smuggle that through customs, because you can't even get hand lotion through there.
Yeah, like that's Houston is crap. Like don't ever move here. It sucks. The weather is just disgusting most of the year. But if you like good food and you want to have like a good uh, choice of foods to choose from, like being a major port city and one of the largest cities in the United States, there's no shortage of just bomb ass food from all over the world.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's one thing that's good about this town.
But I feel like we have a lack where I live, and I know like maybe it's just me, but as I said, the pizza places, like we have like Italian, like I don't know, it's just not as diverse as it probably should be, or you would expect almost anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. um, do you Journey? Do you enjoy reading? Do you read in your free time at all, or no, not really?
I don't know, not really. Every once in a while, there will be, a book or a series or something that just like really, really my attention, and I can't put it down. But that hasn't happened for quite a while. To be honest, like I read a lot more like nonfiction type of stuff. Like if I just hear about something and I'm like, wow, I want to know how that works. A lot of people just go straight to YouTube and they want to watch a video about it, and like sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I'd rather read an article. I'd rather read some facts. And like, usually, basically, most of what I read nowadays is going to be nonfiction, just scientific, informational type of stuff, or just yeah, nonfiction type of stuff mostly. But um, yeah, I never was a big fan of reading. There was one author that I got into when I was a kid, and I read like everything he did. Just the style of writing. He was a big smart ass the way that he wrote, so I appreciated that. And Stephen Brust is his name, if anybody is familiar or wants to check out some good, fantasy books. But yeah, I read like almost everything he did, and then yeah, other than that, I haven't really had anything lately that's just grabbed me. 'Cause
I
that's just how entertainment works. Like I've got a very short window where you gotta really get my attention. Otherwise, I'm just gonna meh.
also think that as we grow older, especially with kids, job, shit, all the stuff we fill our lives with, it gets very difficult to just sit down and take the time to read a book. Like, it takes, I mean, just terrible example because I don't like the movies. But Harry Potter, read the first Harry Potter compared to the first Harry Potter movie. Like, they skip things and whatever, but the amount of time commitment you have between the two is insane. And also with, you add um, video games, TV shows, movies, which finding the time to scope out time to actually sit down and read anything we're not forced to read, like for school or something, that is just almost unfathomable as you get older.
There was some of the stuff that I did take a few college classes here and there, but my my experience with college was like, either you work part time and then you can go to school, but you don't have the money to afford school, or you work full time and you have the money to afford school, but you ain't got no time for the school. So like during COVID and stuff, I got an unemployment and it was like good money, and I wasn't working, so I was like, hey, let's knock out some college classes. Let's work towards this or this or that. And some of that reading was actually like it was pretty interesting. And that's the only way that you're going to get me in reading is if it's something that I find interesting, just like American history type of stuff. I was like, wow, it's just kind of mind blowing. Um, but that's the only way that you're going to get me to learn anything is if I find it interesting. If I don't, then I'm just going to space out.
Speaking of COVID, how did the pandemic impact your life? Because I know a lot of us lost our jobs. And kids not going to school. How did it specifically impact you, Journey?
All right, so before COVID, I was managing an automotive shop, and I was working on 5 years there. Basically, it's a 5 bay automotive shop. Don't do any like major mechanical work or anything like that. We do in Texas, you're required to have your vehicle inspected every year for safety items, emissions testing, things like that. I know most states do that, but a lot of them don't. So I just figured I'd lay that out there. But yeah, vehicle inspections, oil changes, alignments, tire rotations, your basic maintenance type of stuff. So I managed that place for 5 years. And like employment was always an issue. The owner could never hire people who, to work there. Like he was pretty fair to me when I was the manager. Like whenever I had issues about like, hey, it's been 3 years now and I'm not making any more money. What's up? He was always pretty fair to me. But he didn't ever like incentivize any of the other employees. So people were in and out. It was just a fucking revolving door. It more difficult for me. So fast forward here to COVID. Basically in Texas, April 22nd, I want to say, was the official like shutdown. Like if you're not an essential business, then hey, just close your doors and stay at home for 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. That's funny. Um,
That'll
but
get
at
rid
that
of
time,
it.
yeah, at that time we had 3 employees, myself and two other guys, running a 5 bay shop. So we were already understaffed. Um, and the last 2 days that I worked there by myself because everybody else just bounced. And everybody, I don't know if everybody was scared or they were like already getting unemployment or what. But I told the owner, I was like, dude, I mean, this isn't going to work, right? Like, you can't, 3 people can't run a 5 bay shop. One person definitely can't. So what are we going to do? So like me, the other two guys, and the owner, we all got together, 6 feet apart. And we're like, hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to just do this day and like have one person work each day, this and that? And I was like, honestly, like one person work at a shop that large, one person, it's not safe, like
Yeah.
period. It's not even like the shop is not in a great neighborhood. So there's if you just have one person working there, you're leaving yourself open to getting jumped, getting robbed. There's any number of things that could happen. But none of us were cool with it, so we're like, all right, let's just close down for the 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens after that. And we did, and 2 weeks became more than 2 weeks. And the owner was like, hey, we're an essential business. We need to open back up. I need you guys to come back to work. And like, no, like the state straight up told everybody, like, you don't have to have your vehicles inspected. Don't even worry about registering your vehicles. Just stay the fuck home. And the owner's like, no, no, I need to make money. Y'all need to come in here and get to work. So like, all of us applied for unemployment. Like, no, we closed the shop on purpose. We wanted the owner to give us new safety measures to try and protect us. Like we need that plexiglass at the register. We want them to alter the inspection procedure because basically, like when I inspect a car, I get in this person's car, I test drive it, I touch everything that they touch when they're driving the car. The steering wheel, all the switches, everything. And like none of us were cool with that. Nobody knew anything about how the virus is transmitted or anything like that. So we were all just like, hey, we need to ease up on these restrictions. We want people to just pull their own cars in. They can hit all the lights and do all the shit themselves, and we'll do this and that. And the owner was like, nope, I'm not cool with that. I don't want to do that. So we're like, all right, then we're not coming back. And we basically, all three of us won our case in that matter. We all got on unemployment, and it's the best money that I've ever made. It's sad to say
It
it.
was no, like it was asinine. Like the amount of money you got on unemployment, like oh man, like it was so much. I know
It was
people who
the
left
equivalent
work.
of making $20 an hour, like net
No, yeah,
after
yeah,
everything.
because you get like whatever you would say, like $300, 250. Doesn't even matter if you made 250, 300 for normal unemployment, and then they threw 600 on top of that. I know people who came back to work. So I never got unemployed. I did end up getting some unemployment, but not a lot. I know people who left my job and came back to my job with like cars and shit that they could never afford, and like they were still even collecting, like they were like servers who already make kind of an asinine amount of money, but that's beside the point. But the way they spend their money is a little bit weird. So they came back and they had cars. They were still only working 3 days a week, so they could still collect unemployment in New York. It was crazy the amount of
Yeah,
money they were
that's.
giving out for that.
I mean, like people are abusing the system. It's a fact.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, then
but
there's also situations
buddy,
like yours where you're out of work and stuff, and it's not exactly safe to go look for a job in the middle of COVID. Um,
well,
I
I
mean,
was applying for jobs that are, service writer jobs, the jobs that I've wanted the whole time that I believe I'm qualified for,
yeah,
and
I
like,
mean, you probably
you
are.
don't want me?
Let's be
Hey,
honest.
fine.
As far as the job market goes, I took a
It's a
4 year
mess.
degree plus whatever else I'm going on, and I can't get an entry level accounting job either. So you probably are qualified for it. People's expectations are a little bit. I don't know what you looked into, but I know for me, like it's like I'm looking for an accounting job, and they're like, "Cool, you just need a 4 year degree, 18 years of experience, and we're gonna pay you half of what you're worth." And I'm just
Yeah, that's
I'm
ridiculous.
like literally the jobs I was applying to in my degree field after going to school for 4 years, ignoring high school and everything. After finally finishing up, were trying to pay me. All of them were less money. Like there was one that was more money, but all of them were less money than I currently make working in a kitchen, which is just shitty. It's shitty. Like it feels bad. It feels awful.
Yeah, dude, I I totally understand. It's so run this back real quick. Like, I was a manager at that shop. I was making, decent money or whatever. Um, 6 months or so goes by, 4 months maybe, and I'm calls me up. He's like, "Hey, so like, you ready to come back and stuff?" And I'm like, "No, no, this virus is still in full swing. Like, we're getting more and more cases every day. Like, the number of infected people going on just continuing to
Yeah,
escalate.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, maybe when this starts to tailor off, we can work this out. But at the time being, like, it would be foolish to do so. Not only putting myself in danger, but like you're gonna pay me less than I'm making right now, and it's an unfortunate fact, but it would be foolish of me to come back there and drive 40 minutes across town to go work there, make less money than I'm making right now, sitting at home doing nothing.
I mean, yeah, both safety wise and monetarily. Like
Yeah, like
it's
I've got kids at home, they're not super young. They're 12 and 13. And again, like back then, we didn't know how this was going to affect kids or adults or whatever. And
yeah.
like both these kids went to daycare when they were little and they got sick like freaking crazy. They probably
Oh
have
yeah.
they probably have some pretty strong immune systems. So I don't know. But at the same time, if I don't have to risk it, I'm not going to.
No, I
But
agree. I think
anyway,
that way too many people were a little bit too whatever. I mean, still that, and it's weird because I know even when I talk about it, I'll be like, oh, during the pandemic, but obviously it's not over. What I mean is before any vaccinations, when my job was completely shut down, when my kids were fully remote from school. So I do think that a lot of, and I know in my state this definitely happened, so I know it happened other places. We just got back to it too quick. And
yeah.
then, like, my kids were going back to school before it was safe. And then they forced you into these situations where they're like, okay, well, they can either be at home full time, or they're gonna come back to school full time, and you're just like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't know, the whole like public outlook on all of it is like I don't understand it either because they're talking about like major sports and stuff. They're like, oh well, I can understand it if these Major League Baseball players don't want to come back, it's not safe, whatever. They're making millions of dollars, and you go like, and those same people are like, what's wrong with these teachers? These teachers like they just want to get paid to stay at home and blah blah blah. They need to get their asses back to work. Like, a second, you're taking the side of made like high athletes that make millions of dollars over the people that teach your kids, and they're probably like at an incredible risk. Like you see the way the kids act. You think they give a shit about germs,
No, 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 no,
bacteria?
no, 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 no,
No.
no. Nope, they don't. They don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter whether they're fucking like honestly, all the way up until most 14, 15-year-olds don't even just literally not even a thought. All the way from kindergarten all the way up until the middle of high school. Maybe I'll give the oldest of kids a little bit of leeway to maybe understand a little bit more. But literally just like whatever. Like even older kids though, like I'm just gonna stick my gum under the table, whatever. I don't care.
I don't know. There was like a light at the end of the tunnel during the whole pandemic unemployment thing. Like I didn't continue to re-up it after my
Yeah.
year came up. Like I've got
Yeah.
buddies of mine that they're gonna keep doing that until
Until
this
they just
the
cut it off.
train
Until they
yeah
cut
until
it
the
off.
train
They're
just
just
runs
like,
out of
ah, no,
steam.
done.
No, I secured a gig with a company that's like uh, works at an airport like 20 minutes from my house, and they're contracted by the government to do government things. I don't want to get into too many details about that, but basically they're being contracted out by the Department of Homeland Security and the Border Patrol, and I've already been offered a job with them. All I have to do is get a certain type of government clearance. It's called public trust. It means that like you're not involved in the government. You're not a government employee. You're a member of the public,
Yeah.
but you have certain
Like
access
trusted
to
status.
government databases and stuff like that. So I had to submit so much information to the government. It's ridiculous. They're like, want to know everywhere that I've lived for the past 7 years, everywhere that I've worked. Want to know the names, address, phone number of all of my immediate family, and they want to make. Cause I'm gonna have access to this government shit, so they're want to make sure that like none of my family is career criminals, and I'm not a drug dealer and stuff like that. It can take up to 6 months, but I'm 3 months through that. So once that clearance goes through, job, new job
Nice.
occurs, your money, no holidays, like no working holidays. You get paid holidays.
No
There's
holidays. No holidays. I mean, no, I'm not
no
working the holidays.
yeah, like this Monday, we're all working at the automotive shop. They're like, oh, are y'all off on Monday? What are you gonna do on Monday? I'm like, yeah, nobody's off. We're gonna be here working. So the new gig is gonna be great. I just have to wait for the government to give me the okay, and then we move forward.
That's good. Moving on from the more real life topics into the game section. Do you like video games, Journey?
Oh man, that shit's for losers.
Every time. I can't even, like, I just want one person to say yes. Like, one person to be like, yeah.
You got a sarcastic answer
Listen,
every time.
every single time somebody's like, no, and I'm just like, I mean, I respect the answer. It's kind of, it's such an obvious question to be asking somebody who's using Twitch that I gotta give it to you guys.
You
You
have
guys
to
all win.
expect it.
Yeah. Are you good at
Video
video games,
games have
Journey?
been video games have been a part of my life. Remember back when I said like in high school the only things that mattered to me were girls and cars and parties. Video games were important to me longer like before then. So yes, I've been gaming, you know, almost my entire life. Am
Are
I
you good
good
at
at
video
video
games, Journey?
games? Um, sometimes, sometimes. I think I'm good at problem solving. So that's probably why I don't know if I learned that from RPGs or like as just an innate skill of mine. So I lean towards RPGs. Maybe a bit of
Some
both.
some RPGs, but I think you also played most Zelda games, right?
No, not really.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I have not.
That
No, I have
surprises
not
me.
played a lot of Zelda games. I've played
Must be why you're the
like
Journeyman, not the Zelda man.
I do like the game Journey if we're going if we're going that route. But no, like because I didn't have a lot of Nintendo systems growing up. Like I was telling I had the Super Nintendo. I traded that for a PlayStation, and then it was PlayStation like for the rest of the
Real
way.
PC.
I never had a 64. I never had a GameCube. So I never played, Ocarina of Time and all those games. I didn't even play Metroid Prime until I got it on the freaking Wii. I skipped all those generations until the Wii. So I enjoyed Link to the Past a lot. Done some speed runs of that, the Master Sword, but um, as far as like Ocarina of Time, like that whole, there was like 5 or 6 Zelda games that came out during that period that I didn't have a Nintendo system. So I missed out on a lot of that. But Breath of the Wild came out, and I was just like, oh, whatever. It's just another Zelda game. I started playing it, and I was like, oh my god, this game is a masterpiece. It is, and I still love it.
I think you
Wife
kind of
asked me what I
what-
wife asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I was like, I want Breath of the Wild on the Switch. She's like, we already have it on the Wii U. I was like, yeah, I don't care. I want it on the Switch. I want to be able to just carry it around and just play it.
to be fair,
The whole open world thing is it gets me.
when we got a game for my son this Christmas, same situation happened. I was like, well, we try to even it out a little bit between the kids. Well, get him Breath of the Wild, and my wife's like, we have it. I'm like, yeah, but are we really gonna pull out that Wii U just to play Breath of the Wild, or
Tablet
let's
that's
get
the
it on the
size of a brick.
Switch. Let's get it on the. Let's. But my kids actually love that. I think they killed the first tablet we had because what you could do is they could go and mess around with it, off away from whatever was going on. So it was actually the Wii U we really liked. It didn't get very good reviews, but in my household it was golden. They would watch like
Yeah,
TV or something on it, just like you would on the Switch or something. They'd like my daughter would like pick it up, put Netflix. My son would pick it up, play his Minecraft. Like I think you already answered this by the way, but are you PC Master Race? Are you Xbox? Are you PlayStation?
I've never owned an Xbox in my life, and I can't imagine why I would.
I
Like,
respect
yeah,
that.
Halo is I'm sure that's great. Like I've played Halo on people's Xboxes, and sure, it's cool. First person shooters aren't generally my thing. Other than that, like, what does the Xbox have that nothing else does? I don't care about Xbox. I'm not about to buy one. Um, Again, it's the same thing. I don't know. I feel like I won't be. I don't ever jump on fads. Like everybody's like, oh,
Yeah.
PS5, PS5. Oh my God, I need to get one right now. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It is a thing. Um, only regrets that I have about not having a PS4 is just not getting those PS4 exclusives, and I think that's pretty shitty for companies to do that. Be like, oh, we're only going to release this game on this one system for its first year, and if you don't have that system, then you're boned.
Be fair, as far as the consoles go for me, I know a lot of people. The reason they will like Xbox apparently is because of features. They'll be like, oh, there's features on it or whatever. I couldn't tell you what features because I don't own one. I had a 360 because all of my literally you couldn't cross compatible multiplayer, so all of my friends had a 360. So it was like, well, getting one. But as far as exclusive content goes for games and stuff, I think that the PlayStation has been doing a lot better. The PS like late, especially going into like the last end of the PS4 genre, whether you want to call it like 2018 on to 2020, and then the PS5. I just think they have so many better games. Which obviously it's dickish to have an exclusive game, but if you're gonna pick based off of what games you want to play, which is what I pick a system off of, that's why I would go with the play.
Yeah, I get that. I get it. That makes sense. And like Axiom Verge 2, when it comes out, they mentioned that it's gonna be a Switch exclusive for a short time. I think it's probably just because it's a small developer and like he's got to
I mean,
choose,
yeah, Tom's got to
what
get
console to
his
develop for.
like. I'm sure he's got something lined up, and because I mean, how many people do you really have working there? You know, one VGR. Is it
Oh
him in
well, no,
VGR?
no. He's VGR hasn't been working on AV2. He worked on
Oh, he worked on the
the
randomizer.
randomizer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm getting my wires crossed with it.
several
But
people
yeah, it's
actually.
like
VGR, Willow, Awesome, and Leamy, I think.
I think that's one thing
All like
that's
all
amazing
threw in a bunch
about
of work.
the Axiom Verge community, though. How much they love the game that they're like, obviously, you have the speed runs and everything, but I think there's like a true love for the game. Like I remember when Tabera was in GDQ. Not to name
Oh, she's
drop it,
done several.
not
She's
to
done several GDQs and other events too, I think.
not to name drop any big GDQ streamers, but when she was in GDQ, like I felt like the whole community was there for it, and it was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, anytime somebody is doing a big event like that, like it's made known to the rest of the community, and yeah, we try to show up and show support and stuff like that. Falk did one as well. For SACE, I think it's called. I forget what that acronym is for. I want to say like autism awareness or something like that. But Falcon did a run, and Tom Happ, the freaking developer of the game, was on the call as well during the broadcast. So that was dope.
I think that as far as I don't know very many developers or have had many interactions with them, but I think he's definitely. It's clear that he's involved in the community in a good way, so that's cool as him for as far as Axiom Verge is going.
Yeah, and they were like, I think a lot of the like the speed run. There's like Axiom Verge obviously has like a dedicated speed run mode. I don't think that was actually released when the game was released. I think like it happened, and then saw that speed runs were going on, and he's like, "Well, shit, why don't I, support what these guys are doing?" They're like anytime someone gets on and streams your game, that's exposure right there. You can't even pay for that kind of advertisement.
I think it's really cool, and I think that him being involved in the GDQs and stuff, and then just I don't know. I've not played the game yet. I want to chisel some time out and play it, and then obviously I'm gonna stream it when I do. I really do. Metroidvanias are, as far as genres go, the best genre of games that I've found through Twitch. Because I never played any before. Like, I thought I was gonna Souls like content, and you can see that's not what I do.
Wow.
but but like Metroidvanias in general are definitely one of my favorite genres, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I
Metroidvanias began for me with Super Metroid, and I fell in love with that game a long time ago. So like anything that feels like that is like pretty much a win already. Yeah, and Axiom Verge just ticked all those boxes.
I think Axiom Verge, as far as Metroidvanias go, I've seen Castlevania a little bit. I haven't delved too deep into like Symphony of the Night and stuff like that. I would say that Axiom Verge seems almost the closest to Metroid in a lot of ways that I've seen of the different Metroidvanias. Like you have Ori, right? Which is just like cute little animal, and it has its own things. Hollow Knight, my favorite, probably game I've played since I started streaming in Metroidvania. But
I used to
Axiom
play that
Verge,
game, dude.
hmm?
Slay that game
Oh
or
man, I was playing
All
the
Night.
other day. I Nephrodeem the gamer god or whatever for, and I don't know. I was fucking around. I say destroyed. Getting a little cocky here. I beat the final boss rather handily. Not the final boss because the game keeps climbing in difficulty and stuff. But it's all. It's probably the game that I have the most, whether you want skill out of, that's based off of enjoyment, just pure enjoyment of the game. I like the
Yeah,
game
that's
so
what it's about.
much.
That's
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 like
what it's about.
why I was willing to. That's why I was willing to do that. So,
Yeah,
what is
that's
the
what it's about.
first?
It's like having like so much love for a game that you're willing to play it over and over again to get to that skill level. For me, I've got a pretty short extension, attention span. Like again, it takes something quite a bit to grab me, and like if it does, then great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's got to be replay value in there, and if there's enough of it. The whole reason that I played Axiom Verge so long was because the community was so badass.
Dude, they're
And,
awesome, dude.
like,
Even to this day, like
yeah,
I honestly, um, even a year ago, I guess when Joey was playing it, Falcon's like, oh, I met Joey playing Axiom Verge, and if you check the channel right now, like it'll probably not have very many views, or if it does, it's like a big speedrun or something. But it's just awesome that it's like, even though, oh my god, why is that doing that? Even though it's a smaller game, it's not gigantic. The
yeah, and
community
like
is amazing.
I've met so many cool people through the Axiom Verge community. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
literally,
like even people that
yeah, sorry.
speed run the game,
Yeah.
like Joey, Wool Rammer is another one. That's how we met Wool Rammer,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that is how you went roll too. And then
he
you
was
meet
just playing.
such
He was
good
just playing the
people,
game.
just chilling, playing the game. And to my point, and it's nothing bad about the game because I think that from what I've seen, the game looks amazing. I do want to play it, as I said. I own it on the Switch. Actually, I bought it full price. I just saw it on the store, and I was just like, done deal. Like I'm gonna have to play this one day. But to the credit of it is you found all these amazing people playing this game in a game that has like the community is just so good that even though like nobody literally I checked it, nobody's streaming it right now. I bet money that if somebody were to pop it in, it's like 9:30 on a Friday, there would be people from that community that would just come in for it
And
and
I'll
get
tell
to
you
know the
what,
streamer. And then stick with him,
actually,
just like you did with Wolverhammer and you guys did with Joey.
Willow made a bot for the Discord, the Axiom Verge Discord channel. Anytime anybody on Twitch goes live,
Oh, that is
they're
fucking
tagged as
amazing.
playing
That is
Axiom
amazing.
Verge,
That's what I'm
pops
saying
up in the
though.
Discord.
Like the community in that game specifically is next fucking level. Like I don't know if I've ever the Dead Cells community I've met on Twitch has been really good. Also a game I really enjoy. But the community in that game for Axiom Verge,
Like none
through
other.
the developer, the speedrunners, all of you guys are just so passionate about this game
Oh,
and the people that
it's
you're going to
actually
share it with.
a little bit of news in there as well. The There's like the developer of Axiom Verge, Tom Happ, and then there's his like marketing guy. His name's Dan something. Dan just like approached the Axiom Verge speedrun community, and he's like, "Hey, what would you guys think about being the official Axiom Verge community?" Period. And we're like, "Yeah, sure." That's the kind of hands-on that's involved here, and like
Yeah.
the mutual respect that's involved. They're like, "Okay, boom." Or the official Axiom Verge channel. So it's not all about speedrunning anymore. It's anything game related. You can go to that channel.
So I'm just gonna go reverse a little bit back to the gaming questions. I know I went on. Oh my god, it's just like it's such a fun thing that I've found with the community and with you and with everybody else is how involved you are with that, and then obviously, um, but when you play video games, you prefer multiplayer or single player?
Single player. It's tough to get people together to do anything.
Oh yeah,
Like I tried to put together a retro like speedrun challenge thing. Like, hey, we take 2 weeks to learn this game,
yeah, I
and then we all
remember that.
submit our results at the end. And just trying to get like 5 people on
Dude,
board to
I,
do
I,
the same
I, I
thing.
even remember like looking at the games and being like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Oh, it was like a Mario game," and I was like, "God, like
Oh my God, don't do
just."
it.
I never,
Mario
I know,
World,
I
don't do
never.
it, man.
Listen, I just remember you talking about a
Do it.
Mario
It
game
sucks.
in that for one of the challenges, and I just remember being like, I just wish I could. But back to the whole like just being crazy busy and stuff, and just I never would have found the time. Now I might like be able to find a couple hours here or there, but like
Chrissy, what's up?
just not back then. I guess would I have found the time, and it would mostly just be the same time as like streams, nap time. Just be like, oh, I'm gonna try to learn how to speedrun Mario during nap time, and I.
Dude, it's like a double speed run. You're being timed in game. You're being timed
Yeah,
in real life.
exactly,
You're
exactly.
gonna
Like,
be on
okay,
PB pace.
can
The
I get
kid's
my
gonna wake
PB
up.
pace? Can I get the kid's nap to the longest? It's opposite PBs. I'm trying to get my time down and his nap longer. So it's like,
Yes.
can I get a double PB today?
You slept for an hour and 40 minutes today. That's a PB.
What is the
Sucked in game, but you know the nap was great.
what is the first console you ever played on?
That's gonna be an Atari something. Like when I was, I don't know, I don't even know. Less than 10. That's pretty obvious. There was an Atari in the garage, and it had like Space Invaders and shit on it. Don't remember getting into it at all. But then again, honestly, like we had an NES also, and we had Excite Bike and Mario and Kung Fu and stuff. But I don't remember getting all that deep into that either. I think at that age, I was more about being outside and riding my bike and stuff. Super Nintendo was all over. I was hooked.
What is the first video game you ever fell in love with?
Secret of Mana,
And what is your
absolutely.
favorite game of all time?
Oh, 40. Probably still Secret of Mana. Like everything about it. It's it was translated very poorly. There's a lot of glitches that are available, but I never knew about that when I was a kid. The soundtrack is epic, gameplay is epic, and like the nostalgia factor is still one of my favorite games.
So this is from oh wait, let me do this first one first. This is from By Curious George, one of the questions that he asked, and whenever somebody asks just an insanely great question, I literally go, I'm stealing it and just write it down. So he asked, what makes a game fun or unfun to you?
Hmm. Well, that's a good question. It's very dependent on the kind of game. Like if you're playing an RPG, then you got to have good characters. You got to have like a good dynamic and character development between characters, things like that. It's got to be interesting, like because it's an RPG. There's got to be so much more depth. If I'm just like getting bored in the text, I'm just mashing through it. Then on my first playthrough, then you've already kind of failed. Um, but what makes the game good, like more like a platform Metroidvania kind of thing. The music. I mean, the music has to be good in every game.
You're
Period.
the first person. You're the first person to mention the music, but I appreciate it because there are so many games where I start playing it on stream, and I know I don't realize as well, but people will just be there like, "Oh, Free is a big one for this. Oh, it's a bop. Like it's a vibe. Like this music is so good." So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
because like
music.
you figure like people that are watching your stream, and if they don't know the game, whatever, and they're like, okay, I don't know what the hell's going on in this game, but this music freaking rocks. It's a big deal. Um, yeah. If it's an RPG, character development, RPGs, I expect a lot more from RPGs. There's got to be like the menu has to make sense. There's got to be character development. There's got to be a whole myriad of things going on. As far as games, other than that, it doesn't even necessarily have to look good. It's just got to have good music. The controls have to be on point. There's got to be some creativity involved. If you're like every enemy looks the same, they're all doing the same stuff. It's like, all right, come on, Fika. Well, we've progressed beyond that now.
What are 3 to 5 games on your bucket list for games to play?
On my bucket list, I've never played Resident Evil 7. I like got it on sale a long time ago. Haven't played it. I've heard great things. That's on my bucket list. Geez, let me look at my desktop. I have a bunch of games that I've downloaded and just
I am the same
haven't
way.
played.
You download them on Steam thinking you'll find time, whether normal, like on your own time, or for streaming, and then it just doesn't come about.
Yep. Um, hmm, Resident Evil 7 is one of them. Um, honestly, I don't know that I have a bucket list at the moment. I know Hollow Knight is on there. I tried playing Hollow Knight a couple times. One thing that is like stopping me from playing it is the fact that you can't track yourself on the map
You
until
can.
you get some
You
kind of
can.
certain item or
Yeah, but
something,
you
right?
can. It's so. Here's what you have to do. If that's what's bothering you for the game, and I would probably not say this about most games. What you have to do is just like, I don't know how backseat you are. Get somebody to help you find that map, and it changes the game. Because I know some people who it's literally like 10 minutes into the game you can have it. Okay, so it's not like this big ordeal. But the first time I played it, I don't remember who. It might have been Joey, actually. I feel like Joey came into the stream for
I
5
know
minutes.
Joey's real big into that game too.
For 5 minutes, he showed me exactly where the map was, and then by the time I was playing it this last time, I've been playing it on stream again. I haven't barely used the map at all. I've literally just been like, oh, and I got through most of the game without the map, and then I finally bought the map to find like an extra couple things. But yes, get that. It will change your experience.
I have it, and I have it downloaded. And
No, I'm talking
tried
about them in the game. Get the map. Once
okay.
get the map, and then you get the. It's like you need the map, you need the pen, and then you need a charm. It's called Wayward Compass. Once you get
okay,
like you literally walk in. It's I mean literally like if you ever hopped onto my Discord or whatever, and you were like, "Yo, you told me about this. Hollow Knight, get the map." I would literally be able to be like, "Okay, here's what you do," and I'd be able to guide you right to the map guy. And then once you find the map guy the first time on the map, you can go up to his shop and then you just collect. Even if you have to collect it like 3 or 4 at a time, it literally just it opens the game. Because I know people who thought there wasn't a map, by the way.
because like when you think of Metroidvanias, that is like it's just standard equipment. You have a mini map.
It's literally like you have the map and then you have like
built in.
I mean, in Hollow Knight, it's like a blank. So in Hollow Knight, it's a blank area. In Super Metroid, it's like similar. Like, oh, there's clearly a room where you missed because there's like it's standard. You're right. As far as the Metroidvanias I've played, it's like, oh, here on the map is where I have to go to find the thing, and let's find out what's over there.
Yeah.
And then you get over there, and you're like, either it's a new power, or it's like more health, or more energy, or weapons, or ammo, or whatever the hell it is.
All right, can I take 30 seconds real quick? Keep the audience busy for me. Keep them distracted.
Keep them distracted.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Get me good with an x-ray visor. This is why we're learning to edit soon, so I can edit all of this out. You would never even know. Going on YouTube, you don't see anything, or you see just me. Is it me, or is it the gaming god?
Gaming god. I will entertain the audience for you. Great question, by the way, Sage. Great question. Also, welcome in, Chrissy. I made it a habit of not welcoming people in verbally, but, we were so distracted. I know. I'm over here the same way, just like, oh, how do I get a refill? Whoa! Oh, the gaming guy, Chrissy? Yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? Hopefully you were doing well. Hopefully your little bean is doing well. I know that we are not in contact nearly as much at the moment because of busyness and schedules and all that crazy stuff. Like somebody had a baby. I don't know who had a baby. Was it Chrissy? Was it me? It was probably Chrissy. It looks like I'm having a baby, but I'm not actually having another baby. Good question. He's like, I'm gonna run away, keep distracted. I'm like, I was gonna run away with you. I was just gonna go get another beverage. Oh my goodness, guys. So, fun story, by the way, because this is sharing time. So I bought a brand new car yesterday. It got signed into my name. This goes in the IRL section, but we'll continue. It got signed into my name. Aww. Car got signed into my name. And I have driven for 12 years now. 13. And of the 13 years I have driven, I have been in one incident.
Everyone efficiently distracted?
Oh, you're good. Everybody is. I'm telling a story about my brand new car. So I've never gotten into an accident or any sort of a situation other than like running over a curb. The car, it is a Dodge Caravan, and today we went to the store for 5 minutes, and somebody backed into my fucking brand new van that I bought.
Are you using the voice thing again?
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's still I was like trying to distract them in multiple different ways. Yeah, so somebody backed into yeah, I literally looked at the guy and I was just like, I don't even know what to do with you. Like literally just like, oh, what's the name? Pupper's name?
Morty.
Morty. Oh, Morty, you're so cute. Welcome to the stream, Morty. This is Morty's Unmasked. Let's see, 1 second. Let's get Morty a little mask on. Here, Morty. Oh no, I'm breaking something. I know I'm breaking something. I don't know what I just broke. Oh, I took the other mask and I moved it. Whatever. Anyway, Morty, let's give you... Oh, come on, stop breaking it. Oh, wrong mask, that's why. Morty's masked, and then Morty comes unmasked. Oh, it's a puppy! He was so distracted. So yeah, I definitely... Oh, man. Like, oh... I've never had somebody hit into my car. Period. Right? And I've always...
Somebody give you
Somebody backed into my brand new car that we just bought.
Ooh, ouch.
Like, I was legitimately just like, I like looked at him and I was just like, I don't even know what to do with you. I am very not happy. And I don't even know what to say because I'm so angry right now because this has never happened. Right? And then it was under 24 hours. Like, literally, I owned the car for less than one full fucking day. And somebody just, like, boom. And he backed up, like, hardcore. Like, he was fucking driving till it sounded expensive. He was like, I'm going until something sounds expensive, and I don't give a fuck.
When you hear the crunch, you're there.
Dude, I mean... Clearly, I'm still frustrated over the situation. It was crazy. Anyway, back to these very important questions.
Yes, the bucket list.
Hollow Knight, Resident Evil 7. What else we got?
Honestly, that's all I got as far as like bucket list. I know there's a couple games coming out actually in the Metroidvania genre. Axiom Verge 2, obviously. The Last Faith will be coming out, and like I can't wait for that. It looks freaking sick. Other than that, I only have like old school games from my childhood that I want to speedrun, so I guess we can call that a bucket list. Like I know I've already mentioned Secret of Mana twice, but I would like to speedrun that eventually.
That sounds really cool, honestly. Secret of Mana speedruns.
Yeah,
you know how long that would take?
I want to say the world record is around 4 hours, which is nuts.
Bad. I mean, it is nuts, but I think so. If Secret of Mana plays anything like Legend of Mana, which I don't know if it does, so don't quote me on this, I can see how it would take less time than I played by far. And I think I took like 14 hours for Legend of Mana. I played through it kind of quick. Like, it was literally like, there got to a point in the game where I was just like, I know what I'm doing. I don't know if, I seriously don't know if Secret's anything like it. Because of how, that's the one thing about JRPGs and RPGs in general. It's a little bit different than other games, like, even like, well, okay, I guess they did it with Zelda, which was weird, but then they stopped doing it so much. Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 are completely different. Like, if you ignore Zelda 2, and you just went Zelda 1, Link to the Past, like Link's Awakening and stuff like that, like, they're so similar. Whereas, like, JRPGs, they're like, Final Fantasy is a great example, where it's like,
so it's a little more linear, like there are certain things that have to be done.
We're going to innovate every game. Like, there's certain things you expect out of it, but we're going to, like, change up the system for what you're going to do and your magics and shit like that. So I don't know if that's anything like the Mana games.
Yeah, Secret of Mana, the speedrun, like, you have to hit all the same triggers. There are no boss skips or anything like that. You just streamline the whole thing into only getting shit that you need.
Yeah, you get just the shit optimizing that you need. Everything. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so... Now on to the all-important streaming questions. How long have you been streaming, Journeyman?
I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary in February, was it? Or March? I believe it was March. Yeah, it was one year in March. Chrissy, I'm drinking craft beer, local beer. It's one of those things like it's $10 and you like build your own 6-pack out of a bunch of different local beers.
Listen, sir, you're not allowed to answer that question until later.
Oh, my bad.
Chrissy, cheating.
She redeemed points for it. I wasted the points.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like it's been like a little over a year, but like as a lot of people know, I don't keep any kind of regular schedule or anything like that. It's something that's just like I do for fun.
I think this podcast is the first thing you've done in a while. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I keep tabs on as many. I mean, that's the one thing about streaming. Like, you meet so many people right? I keep
Yeah,
tabs
like
on literally as many people as humanly possible. So I'm over here like I want to say that I haven't seen you online in a long time, but also
several
I've just been
weeks.
sleeping a couple weeks.
Oh, several weeks, like
Yeah,
at least
several.
3, because my birthday was on the 3rd, and I didn't even stream then. And like, so a lot of shit has happened. I restarted work, and I'm working, 50-hour weeks, so it's hard to squeeze in any time. Also, at the beginning of the month, I had my brother and my mom over from out of state. I haven't seen them in like 2 years, so we were all spending time together. To put away like the green screen, put away all my shit, and I was like, it's just been nuts. And once the new job starts, I get that that call from the government, and I can have all the weekends off and all the holidays. I can
Once you have a
see getting back
schedule
into more
again, like
streaming.
once I think that's the one thing, and they'll tell you about it if you listen to literally any tip video, is the schedule thing, right? In if you have kids and you have a job and literally anything else going on in life, scheduling streams and shit is it's so hard. And especially
Yeah,
if you work
and
any sort of a job that isn't steady. Like I've always worked a job where it's like hours or whatever the fuck. Like literally my biggest issue was I would try to schedule stream for like I would try to schedule a stream for like 10 o'clock at night, right? When I usually leave at 8 o'clock on the night, I'm scheduling the stream. And then all of a sudden I'm working till 10 o'clock that night. And I'm
yeah,
just
can you
like
stay late tonight?
I'm like, I literally like I have shit scheduled for way after I should ever be working, and you're coming at me like this.
Yeah, like it was a little easier when I was the manager of this place because I made the
Yeah.
schedule. And like we work 10-hour days, so I would just schedule myself for 4 10-hour days. Go, I've got the rest of the week off. And now that I'm not the manager, I don't get to make my own schedule. So this manager is like, oh, well, you could work 4 10s, but you're actually going to work 5 days. Some of them will be 10s, some of them will be 8s. Could come in
Oh, that's
anywhere
just
from
garbage.
8,
No, and then
8
six
9,
and four
10
and whatever the
o'clock.
fuck he wants.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm making a 40-minute drive to go down there. Like, yeah, go ahead and take that 40-minute drive to come down here so you can work a 5-hour shift. What?
Just
Stupid. So,
God, that's just. Oh man, that's literally. I think probably as far as jobs go, I know it's just me generalizing because I don't know. I think probably a mechanic was one I was thinking that would be almost the most similar to like a restaurant employee as far as scheduling and stuff goes. There's like like it's similar in some ways. Like you don't know if the next guy's gonna come in, and then maybe you have to stay later and whatever. And literally like, okay, well, what am I going to schedule for when the shop closes or whatever, and then blah blah blah.
I mean, you're correct in that we're both pretty much part of the service industry. So like most people work Monday through Friday, and they want, once they get off on Friday night, they probably want to come see you at the restaurant. Saturday morning, they need to get shit done. They come to see me, get their oil changed and their inspection and all this shit. And it's like, yeah, so I don't get to work normal people hours. Like I'll work, and it could be 8 to 6, it could be 10 to 6. Like tomorrow, I'm working 10 to 5. The only reason that's my hours get trimmed off there in the morning is because I've already put in 40 hours. So yeah,
um,
I prefer the days when I made my own schedule.
how did you choose your streaming name?
Oh, thank you. That's a good question. All right, so I like you were singing my praises like, oh man, you know all this stuff about cars, and I'll bring my car to you because you know all this stuff about cars and stuff like that. I'm not a master of anything. Like there are things that I do pretty well. So if you figure um like plumbers, electricians, carpenters, and stuff like that, you start off and you're like an apprentice. It means like you don't know shit. You're just a helper. You're just working with a guy that knows what he's doing, and you get hands-on experience doing that thing. So you do that for years. You take a bunch of tests and stuff, and then you get to become a journeyman, journeyman plumber, journeyman electrician, etc. And then once you've done that for another 10 years or whatever, then you become like a master. And I have, again, a really short attention span, and I don't stick to things very well, honestly. So I don't know. I just I appreciate the journeyman thing. Like I'm never gonna be a. It's basically, it just says that I'm never gonna be a master at anything, but I'm gonna be pretty damn good at a lot of things.
That's how I feel about video games. Like I will never be like any video game. So there. Okay, so I have a theory that you know any game is, you haven't found your game. Like if you're not good at video games, you haven't found your game. That's my theory on games in general. But I will say that as far as I go, like I think I'm above average at video games in general. Like you take all the video games and it's just like, okay, here's Zell. Zell's better than most people would be at all games. But I will never be the very best. Like I'm never gonna be that top guy, no matter what you're talking
You
about.
want to be that top guy, you're gonna have to play that one game for the rest of your life.
I'm
And
not.
that
Yeah.
sounds
See, nope.
awful.
No. See, that's why I'll be the journeyman gaming god.
Like
I'm right
when
there
I
with you. I'm right there with you.
when I learned to speed run a new game, obviously, like if you try to like watch the world record, and it's gonna be so like intimidating that you can be like, hell no, no, I can't do that. What I prefer to do instead is look at all the submissions, find out where the 50% mark is.
I
And
like
like,
it.
okay,
I love it.
I just
I
want to be
love
faster
it.
than half
I
of the
want to be above
submissions.
average. Like, as so long as I can beat the average person, whether it's you're talking about speedrunning or um, whatever your marker is, whether it's speedrunning or least deaths or whatever, so long as you're above average.
Yeah, and then, like again, like we got to go back to Axiom Verge. Like that was the community was so dope, and it encouraged me to keep going. I got to a point where like I'm honestly still pretty proud of how I've done. There's been a lot of progress since then. Like I was seventh at one point, I'm probably like ninth now. But
That's
I
not
don't know.
bad. That's not bad at
Look
all.
back at those moments, and I'm like, that taught me a
Shit.
lot about the whole structure of the thing, what things to shoot for, what things are realistic and what's not. Like that's kind of what made me like go back to Super Metroid, and I was like, I had this unrealistic expectation of what I was going to do when I first started trying to learn Super Metroid, and I just got so frustrated with it, I put it down. After I did Axiom Verge, I was like, that expectation that I had in the beginning when I started playing Super Metroid was just unrealistic, and I didn't give myself enough time to actually learn the game. I was like, fuck it, let's do it again. And again, it's like later down the future. That's probably on the bucket list as well. It just needs time and practice.
I like it though. Like when I approach speedruns, I give myself too much leeway. I don't know if that sounds crazy or not. So like I started my streaming career as I what I thought I was gonna be a Dark Souls speedrunner. I did like 4 speedruns and I was just like, get me the fuck out. Like I can't.
Oh, dude, I believe it.
And
This,
I took so the thing was is I don't like Celeste's. I have the same issue with Celeste. I don't like practicing certain parts. So for instance, there are skips in the games, right? Well, guess who doesn't like to practice the skip for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? This guy.
yeah,
This guy doesn't want to practice the same thing. So what I did was I went through and I made every safety, literally the maximum amount of like the safety bonfires because it's Dark Souls, the maximum amount of safety bonfires, and that's what I did. So I probably started too lenient because I was like, I'm not gonna skip it. I'm not gonna do none of this. I'm not gonna learn anything I need to learn. I'm just gonna do all of the safety bonfires that you could possibly need, and I'll finish in like 4 hours.
gotta set down a baseline somewhere, and then like, well, it's only downhill from there. Like, there's what you might call noob gains. Like the same thing applies for like fitness, right? If you're gonna go start like lifting weights and shit, you're gonna be like, oh, I can do this now, and then like in 2 weeks you're gonna make like massive strides, and like holy shit, look at these gains that and it's noob gains, like because you didn't know jack shit before. Now that you know something, you can do a lot better. The same thing applies with speedrunning. Like your first few runs are gonna be so trash. As you learn a little bit, just a little bit, you're gonna make massive gains, and
I
then like plateau is that's where shit gets difficult.
See the plateau, and it's funny too because
Okay.
I tried to speedrun multiple games, just like for funsy ones. Like literally, like if I Hollow Knight speedrun is like 25 minutes. If I do it in under an hour, I'm good. Celeste is like 26, 27 minutes. If I do it in under an hour, I won't be mad. So I do
see,
like
those are like the world records.
yeah.
Find the 50% mark, dude.
Oh, I'm not gonna say. But so for Hollow Knight, I just got frustrated because the final boss would kick my ass. Because I never even practiced them. Because as I said, I'm not patient. So what I should have done is I should have fought the final boss. I should have taken all my equipment off in the game, fought the final boss, like how you would fight him if you're speedrunning him, right? Multiple times while I already have a save file, and then just learn the boss. What did Zell do? What did Zell do? Zell learned the whole speed run, got to the final boss, and spent a half an hour on the boss after getting his speed run under an hour, and just went, "Fuck this game." Celeste was similar, but I actually did. I saved 25 minutes in my Celeste speed run because I stopped playing it, and then I came back to it for different to do the B sides, finished all up to 7B, and then when I went back to Celeste and speed runs, I was like, "Oh, well." And now I'm feeling more patient after months.
It says a lot. Like you must have been like so frustrated and fixated on one thing that just needed to drop it for a little bit and come back with.
That's what I'm bad about.
Perspective.
That's what I'm bad about as far as video games go. I'm bad at the dropping it. Like I will insist on doing it until I get it. And people will be like, walk away. I'm like, you don't understand. This isn't how this works in the wild, wild west of Sellville. But
I'm real good at that dropping it part. Like if I get pissed off at something, I don't know. I don't like video game. It's gaming. It should be fun. When it comes to the point where it's work and I'm getting pissed off, that's where I walk away. I'm like, no, this isn't fun anymore. I don't know. That's
I
the reasons why it's fun to watch, like people rage when they're, especially like speedrun fails and stuff, and they're just like fuck this game and just raging. I'm just like, dude,
I don't even like this game. Why am I playing it?
Fun anymore.
Fuck? When I did the Celeste one, I was literally like, I'd get mad over like a bad early chapter, like I'd lose a minute and I'd get pissed off, and that's when I finally was just like, I'm not ever gonna beat an hour and a half or whatever I had at it.
Yeah, when the 2 weeks that we had to learn Super Mario World, all castles, that was, I don't think I've ever been more pissed off at a video game. I was like, dude, we are on a timeline here. Like I had practiced quite a bit the first week, and then I was like, okay, I'm pretty confident about this. I just need to do this or this or that. And in the second week, there was like no progress being made, and there was like 2 days left until submissions had to happen. I was just like, fuck this game. I was just like speaking through gritted teeth. I was holding I have a this isn't it, but it's a controller that's like a SNES controller, and I was holding it and I was just like twisting it in my hands. I was like, I was about to twist the thing in half, dude. And I was like, finally got a PB later that day, and I was like, I'm done. That's it.
I'm done. I saved a couple seconds. This game
ever again.
What got you into streaming originally?
I thought we were going to ask that question, and I know exactly what it was. I was watching a Twitch stream, someone named Divine Rydia, and they were playing a Final Fantasy Tactics mod called Cerebo's mod, because it was made by a dude named Cerebo. Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite games of all time, and I was watching this mod being played, and I was like, oh my god, this corrects a lot of the things that I felt were like undesirable in the original game. It fixed a lot of that stuff, and also just like added a whole bunch of new different changes to all these different classes and stuff. And I was like, oh my god. Like typing in chat, I was like, how do I get a hold of this fucking mod? I need this. I need to play this right now. How do I get it? Cerebo, the creator of the mod, was in the chat, and he's like, yeah, sorry, it's just in beta testing right now. Rydia is helping me beta test it, and it's not available to the public yet. I was like, no, I don't think you understand. I need to play this. Like, I need, how do I become a beta tester? And he's like, "Oh, well, shit. Like, do you stream? Like, because that's how I get my feedback.
You're like,
I
I
watch the
fucking do
stream,
now.
or I watch the VODs or whatever." And I was like, "Dude, I will play it and like upload it on YouTube, or I will stream it. Whatever you need." And he's like, "Oh, honestly, yeah. If you could stream it, that'd be really cool." I was like, "Done. Fucking
That's
send me the
amazing.
files."
Dude, that's amazing.
And
It is. Oh my god, I've heard some really cool stories, and that's definitely one of my like.
I
Oh
had
my
done a
god, I
couple
like it.
streams
I
before
love it.
then.
Yeah, I know, but at the same, like, what really got you? And I know a lot of people who are like, I tried
Actually,
a day, and then
a lot of my first follows came from there as well, just streaming that Final Fantasy Tactics mod. And there was one time like people that kind of like follow that mod and watch people play that mod. Where they were watching me, and Sarabo was in the chat, and he's just like, oh wait, you're trying to make affiliate? Shit, guys, come on, give this guy some follows. He's trying to make affiliate, and there's like boom, 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 5, 6 follows right then.
that's
I
a
was like,
good idea. I
okay,
wonder how that
oh,
how that
all right.
worked if somebody tried to do that. Um. Oh man, I gotta move on. I wanted to just ask so many questions about this mod because I have my own thoughts on tactics. Because I'm a Final Fantasy fan. But we will move on. Do you enjoy
Tactics is
streaming,
best
Journey?
Final Fantasy. I do. I don't know. There are times when, like, before every stream, like, all kinds of nervous, and I'm just like, what's this going to be like? Is anybody going to show up? Is it going to be worthwhile? Whatever. And it's the way that things work a lot of times for me. Like, I gotta go somewhere and do something. It's like, is this going to be worth it? Is it worth my time? Am I going to have a good time? Whatever. And usually, like 90% of the time, when you finally go do that thing, it ends up being a good time. There's always like
There's
that
that 10%. There's that 10%.
anticipation and anxiety before then. That'll honestly like kick me out of streaming sometimes. I'm just like, man, I'm just not feeling up to it today. Sometimes I just want to be fucking lazy. But yeah, 90% of the time when I'm on stream, I enjoy it.
I appreciate that you said something that I consider a lot when it comes to my streams. Okay, is it worth my time? Because with having kids and I had school going on that recently finished, work and everything, the question of whether or not it's actually worth my time comes up a lot to me. So I do appreciate that I'm not the only. It's just nice not to be alone no matter what it is, okay? So I appreciate that I'm not the only one who's just like, is this going to be worth my time at the end of the day when I'm done? Or sometimes even while you're live, sometimes you're just. And this is one of like my issues, and obviously with like stressing and stuff over streams, like when there's a lower turnout than I expect, or like whatever, and I'm just like, you finish the stream, it's hard.
It's
It's
not even
hard.
like a dollar value that's placed on this. It's
No,
like,
no.
oh,
It's just
blah, blah,
like, sometimes it's just like I think of like, what were all the things I could have done instead of fucking around with streams today, and then you're just like, God damn it. And then, and then afterwards, after all the, negative thoughts about whether or not of that, afterwards, it's like, now you're feeling weird because you got negative about it, You're like, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be something fun. And
Honestly,
I fucking.
for the most part, I'm an introvert. Like, I don't get out and meet new people. I don't. I prefer not to. Unless there's beers involved, then that's I get a little more
Get a little
friendly.
bit more
Might make
lubricated
some new
and friendly.
friends. For the most part, no, I don't go out and like, let's go meet some new people and shake some hands and powwow and hobnob. No, fuck all that. Like, I've got my set routine of things, and meeting people through Twitch. This is like the perfect method, in my opinion. Like,
No, it's for real, though. For real.
if I don't want to interact with people, then I just don't. I just sit on the couch, or I lay down and I fucking nap and I snack. It's a beautiful thing. When I want to come hang out, there's always somebody on that's a good buddy of mine. I'm like, yo, what's up? Sometimes there's several people on. Sometimes I just float through all these different streams, and it's just a fluid thing. And by the way, I hope I don't offend anybody if I like show up to your stream and I'm there for 10 minutes and then I just move on. Again, very short attention span.
So, as far as streaming goes, Are you doing it just for fun? You see it maybe one day as a job? Is there a mixed bag situation?
I don't see it as a job, period. I always thought that it would be cool to pull in like a little bit of extra revenue in doing so, but honestly, it's almost like not even
You've been
a,
doing
a
it long
thing
enough to
anymore.
know that that's not the. I feel like so. There's one thing as far as my streaming goes. I do want like more viewers and stuff and whatever, and people, anybody who knows me, who even is willing to hear me out on any of my bullshit that I'll spit. Everybody should knows that I'm serious about my stream. I want to see it grow, but monetarily, like at this moment, I don't give a fuck. Like I could not have another sub for 2 or 3 months. If I had one or two more people in the stream on average, I'd be like, fucking win's a win, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's always kind of my take. Like in the beginning, I did have those thoughts. It was like wow, what if I just like took 3 months off work and just like streamed full time, and
Yeah.
I could make it a thing, and
Yep.
how it need is a couple subs every this and that, and I don't know. It soon became apparent that like that's not going to be a
I'm a
thing.
week into that situation because of my wife's working, so I'm like doing like after, and I'm already just like, oh man, this isn't gonna go as according. I
Like
thought
not
if I
only
had all
that,
this
but
time.
on top of
No,
that, again, like being an introvert and stuff, like I don't have like this
you
big
don't have the
bubbly
energy to
personality
do it a
that's gonna
lot of the
like
time. Whether
yeah,
it's
and then
personality
there's
or the energy or whatever.
I feel like there's like you can either go that route or you can just be a straight up god tier gamer. Like there are some people that are just so at the top of their game. They're just that good, and it doesn't matter. They could have a personality of a freaking sponge, and they're gonna get amazing
See,
views because they're just incredible gamers.
so the thing about that is, and like, it's one of those things that I have an issue with. I think you would have an issue with. I'm not willing to play like. I think I'm good, right? Um, there are games that I played on stream that are a good example of this. I don't have the patience to just sit there and like grind at a game. Like I was watching somebody with like, excuse me, sorry, a third of my follows at twice my views playing Celeste, and it's just like that's cool, but I'm not playing this far into Celeste. Like I love the game, it's great. I'm not. I don't have the patience. There's so many
Yeah,
games I want to explore. Like as somebody who really like enjoys video games and stuff, to stick to one, it would hurt me more than it would help me, I think.
and you can move on, or you can bash your head against that wall for more hours and get a little further. Like
Um,
if I'm gonna do that, why don't I just the games that I already know and make a fuckload of progress and be like way happier myself?
so has streaming been a bumpy road or smooth sailing? The answer is always the same, but I have to ask it. It's like when I ask if you like video games and everybody says no.
Sorry, what was it again?
Has streaming been a bumpy road for you or a smooth sailing?
Oh yeah, it's always a bumpy road. Like, yeah, going over like analytics, and you're like, oh wow, things are like once your channel starts
Everything's
taking
on
off
the
a little
up and
bit,
up.
you go look at the analytics, you're like, oh wow, this stream worked out a lot better than that last one, and then like, okay, is it because of the time of the day? Is it the game that I was playing? Was I just in a better mood that day? So that now that's like you got all this stew going on in your head. This is why people hire people to do this for their businesses because you're just like run this all down in your brain, and you'll try to do like everything the same for the next stream. You'll get nothing.
Yep, yep.
Like really low turnout. And it's like, well, wait a minute, what the
I
hell
think I
happened?
failed. I failed a little bit in the intro a little bit, and it's funny how the intro to the podcast in a way, because eventually you're going to touch on something. Um, there's almost always a point where I like go back to it to some of the things I said. Is like that's the thing is you can work as hard as you can. You can do all the same thing. You can do all the right things. Let's be honest. You could literally go. You could stream tomorrow, Journey. You could have the perfect stream. You could be like that dude, whatever that dude is that day. All your
Try
buddies,
world record.
all your buddies could show up. You could get the world running Axiom Verge, and then still in the stream. And the next day, you're not that dude. You could do the same thing, same thing as you did the day before, but you're not that dude that day. You know what I mean? Like it's just like there's so many variables that come into it, and a lot of them are uncontrollable. Some of them you can control. You can control your mentality. I can control whether or not I get frustrated at the game or whatever else is going on, or like if there's a tech
I don't
issue
know.
and
You think you can,
I mean,
but mentality and maintaining composure and stuff, that's some good willpower.
what it's very limited in what you can actually control. There's like it's like the hard work X luck thing in Switch, and I mean, it's like it's fucking hard. It's hard. It's difficult. Like streaming is difficult. Streaming is one of the most interesting things I've done because when it's going great, it's going fucking great. You know, when you're having that stream, that super epic great stream, and everybody's coming out and you're just enjoying yourself, it's always fun. And then when you go live the fucking next day and it's just fucking just straight up,
Just crickets.
it's just it's hard, especially as people who, whether you're an introvert or have any other sort of anxiety issues, right? It fucks with your head so easily to have that situation show up. You know what I mean?
Honestly, like to this day, one of the best streams that I ever had was that anniversary stream. Just rolling marbles, listening to Retrowave, giving away games, and like everybody showed up. Like all the people that I've met in Twitch in the past year, pretty much everybody was there, and everybody was like participating. Jams. I got quite drunk. I'll admit that. I had to like delete
that
the
was my
VOD.
birthday stream, like in a nutshell. It was like
Yeah.
everything came together. Like everybody came. My anniversary wasn't like that. It was like a normal stream for me. But on my birthday, it was just like, oh, I see everybody. Thank you so much. And then the next day, it's just like, back to them crickets, son.
Welcome back, graveyard.
I love you, you crickets. So you answered the best stream ever. How about one of the worst streams you've had?
Oh my god, dude. Well, there's two that I can mention. There's one Final Fantasy VI stream where just like nothing was working properly. I was lost. Like, like when you think about those old games, you're like, oh shit, I know this game pretty well. I can stream this, right? And I get to this one point and I was like, where the fuck do I go? I am so lost.
Where's this one item I need for this quest? I fucking thought I knew where it was.
And I think I'd like died, and I hadn't like unexpected death came out of nowhere. I hadn't saved for like a fucking hour, and I was just like, okay, dude, it's just over. So that would be one. The other one was where I was doing a Lunar speed run, which obviously like 8-hour run, and my internet was just just cutting in and out, just interrupting the stream, and I was just like, how the fuck am I supposed to concentrate on this run? Also, like, I also would like to submit that run if it PBs, and I can't do that because now it's 3 separate video files on
Yeah.
Twitch because now there's like 30 seconds of gameplay missing, and I just had to continue like okay, and let's just keep going. And like every 2 or 3 hours, the stream would just drop. That was very frustrating.
What are your goals as far as Twitch is concerned?
More followers, more viewers, more subs. That's all pretty normal. But I mean, honestly, for the time being, I don't expect anybody to hold on to their subs for me because I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks. If you don't see me on, you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you let your sub expire. There is gonna be a point when I come back when I get this new job, where I'm gonna have weekends off again. Like it used to be a thing where I'd speedrun Lunar every Saturday or every other
I
Saturday.
remember that.
I haven't had a Saturday off since I started this new job. It's just not
Yeah.
a fucking thing. Like it's hardly possible. So again, once the new job starts, I don't know if it's going to be in a month. I could get the call tomorrow. Start tomorrow, or it might be 3 months from now. But once that starts up again, I do plan to start getting back to the regular stream. I have physical hardware for Lunar now. A PS2 with fast disc speed. Beats the hell out of an emulator as far as speed goes. So once I get back into the swing of that, I hope to PB on that pretty soon. Yeah, for the time being, I don't even know. Like if I stream before I get that job, it's going to be for like 2 or 3 hours. So I
What
don't know.
what is
Stay tuned.
So the one thing I like to say whenever goals come up, and it's fucking hilarious too. There was an episode 0 of the podcast I did a couple months ago now, where I said my goals, and my goals were just like yours. They were just like, oh, I want to be, 20 viewers, whatever subs. I've probably put numbers to it. Is the mention of SMART goals that I really like that I've learned about. It was after the fact, actually. I was watching video. So like a SMART goal is like it stands for something. My brain doesn't work, so I don't remember what it stands for. Even though I bring it up all the time, I don't ever remember. But it's like a goal you can control in a timely fashion. So the one that I did that I really like, a good example, which is why I keep bringing it up, is the podcast. I was like, okay, well, it was stupid, but I did a channel point reward for a community reward, and then when that was filled, the next week we had the podcast. Like something like things you can control in a timely fashion. And then it gets rid of the bullshit in some ways, like the numbers that you can't control because so much is uncontrollable. Like whether it's just like, oh, when you get this new job, maybe a good one for you. It sounds like one for you. You get the new job, you want to do at least a bi-weekly lunar playthrough for the speedruns, right? That would be a goal you can completely control, and whether or not anybody comes for that, you control the goal, so you met your goal. So that's specific, meaningful, something time specific.
Oh yeah, and like hell, once I finally get back to that, like I don't even need to PB for that to be a win. Like I just need to do a shakedown run on the original hardware, make sure that like the disc doesn't freeze up, that this PlayStation is in working order because I can't return it now. I got this like a month ago.
It's like one of the old ones too, if it runs the PS1 discs.
Well, no, this is actually a PS2. This is actually like one of the very last models. PS2s have like serial numbers SCPH. There's like a 70,000, 80,000. This is a 90,000 PS2, 90K as they call it, and it's apparently the fastest. It'll run PS1 games faster than anything, even faster than emulators.
What is the biggest you ever see yourself getting on Twitch? Like the biggest you would ever want to be. I know people have like their limits. Some's the sky. Some is like, I'm good where I'm at. What is the biggest you want to see yourself on Twitch?
I don't know. That's such a huge range because like I have like less than 200 followers now. I don't even know what the exact number is. It's been a while. Look at you, my man. What do you got? 87. I could be there in 3 years.
You want to hear
It'll take me 3 years.
Listen, you want to hear a funny story? You want to hear a funny story that involving with the 887 is that so I've had like a weird growth pattern, right? Whatever you want to call growth for follows. If follows equal growth, whatever. I've had months where I got like 100. This month I was really low, and I played a stream with my kids this morning, and I played Friday Night Funkin', and it was like I don't know the community. I was playing the game for my kids. It was just like the stream title was surprise game for my kids. It's Friday. It's a game they like. It's called Friday Night Funkin', and then the title was like Funkin' Around with My Kids. I got like 20 follows in the stream.
Was it like a family friendly kind of deal?
Nope, not at all. It was just First off, the game isn't family friendly. Warning: if anybody's kids wants to play this game, I know like a lot of kids are playing it. It's not appropriate. Okay. Like no, like literally, like there was some dialogue in this game that I was just, like. So first off, there's like a Blue Balls reference that I don't appreciate, and the second one was like, yeah, no, and then the second one was like some literal like, it was I'm gonna bust your nuts after I make your girlfriend eat mine, and I was done. I was like, you're not allowed to play this game anymore. I'm done with you. Like, turn it the fuck up.
You were suddenly the parent that like has to cover your kid's eyes. Like, no, that didn't just happen. Get what you've seen.
Yeah, but it was a weird day. It was a good day. I'm not gonna say I was mad, but the weird thing was too though is that I think it was like kids that were following like my kids, right? Because what would happen is they would follow, then they would leave, they would spam like a mod, and then like I got like 4 unfollows, like literally just like click unclick, like it was a weird fucking stream. It wasn't
those,
like it wasn't like I got 20
well,
follows. It wasn't like
it's
20
still
follows and I
entertaining.
was sitting at 50 fucking 50 views or nothing. It was like somehow I got 20 follows sitting at 11 and a half views the whole time. It was fucking weird.
That's funny. That reminds me, on one of my videos for the original Resident Evil 2, I had my son narrate it with me, and that was interesting. Because
Oh, it's always interesting when the kids get involved as far as I'm concerned.
when I was playing that game, I was like, "Hey, boys, if either of you can make it to the RPD, I will buy you whatever $50 game you want." Neither of them could do it. Yeah, it's that tank controls thing. Kids are just like, what? I don't. How does it happen?
No. I don't think my kids could do anything controls either. Like I think they would just be. I mean, my son literally stood behind me today. Fucking quote. It was just like I don't know. It was a weird dude. It was such a weird stream. Like it started off and they were being all sweet and they were like the game does like a lot of bee boops and they were like singing to the music and then all of a sudden my son's like telling my daughter that she sucks and they're arguing and I'm just sitting here like taking my headphones just off like, can you guys stop arguing? And then like he's standing behind me like talking shit. Mind you, I beat this game in like an hour and 10 minutes. Like the whole there's 21 songs. I beat them all within an hour and 10 minutes. Dude was still talking shit. He's like, I've been playing this game for like a month now. And I'm just like, I just beat it in a day. Like, leave me alone. Like, can you at least let me... It's my stream. Let me have this.
I want to be a star. What's that
No,
button?
no,
It says to click here if I want to be famous.
Dude, my kids are fucking hilarious. In terrible ways. Like, I think they're hilarious in, like, ways that I don't agree with. So, you know you have, like, the YouTube people that, they're, like, adults that make content for kids, right? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm clearly. I mean, you know, Jeff's in this conversation. You know, I'm not that guy. I mean, I could fucking like here. Let's just like here. This is me for the rest of all of the stream. I'm a beard and I'm gonna have a mask on, and the mask goes up under the beard. And look,
Oh my god, my kids watch this Minecraft stuff and just
like
some of the voices out of these people. I'm just like, I want to reach through the screen and punch this person just because.
I literally, and especially like as somebody who creates content, I'm gonna put that in quotes. As somebody who streams and does like watching these people like. Anyway, it's just infuriating. But my kids will do that shit, and that's where I start laughing uncontrollably. So like my son's behind me the one day, he's just like Spam Crow Gamer in the chat. And I'm over here just like I've never said that once. He's like, if you want to see me do something cool on stream, type in Damien Stream Challenge with no capitals, all one word. And I'm just like, the fuck did you get this from? Like clearly you're not watching
your access to the internet.
Clearly, you are not watching my streams. You are watching somebody else's who needs to be controlled.
I was talking about doing this today. I was like, hey, so come 7 o'clock, I'm gonna need the room. Y'all can't be coming through here, slamming doors and this and that.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be on this little podcast kind of thing, and it's called Streamers Unmasked. And my kid's like, oh, I think I've seen that before. I was like, no, probably not.
To be fair, like I have like a whole skit. I can't get these off. I have like a whole skit to start this front because of YouTube. You got to make it catchy. I'm gonna be like, "Welcome to Streamers Unmasked," and then I'm gonna take it off. But I'm not there yet because first off, I can't even. There's like plastic things. I don't know if anybody can see these, but I can't get them off because I'm terrible. But YouTube's a whole different animal. So the podcast, in my opinion. Because YouTube, the production value is higher, whatever, blah blah garbage. The podcast, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, the podcast is like my biggest production value stream because I put the most effort into it. When I originally made the stream, obviously not like every day. But I put the most effort into it. I have it's got a concept going into every. When I go into a stream, I just fucking I turn the stream on and then I fucking pray for a second, and then I go. Because I don't have time to write stuff out for every stream, So
yeah, the YouTube is a different animal.
podcast is my biggest And it's been doing the best on YouTube as well, as far as like my one with Joey is almost up to 100 views, which I ever hit will be a super big milestone for me, along with my almost finally 50 subscribers. And then I put it
is shit.
I put a gaming one on there recently in between though, and I got 6 views, and I was just like, shows the difference between the content there. You got the streamers Unmasked, which has a concept, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. And then you have this fucking Celeste shitty speedrun that I just put on because I need one upload per week.
Yeah, I've got similar. I've got like all my speedrun stuff on YouTube, like anywhere from like 30 to 100 views, and then I have like these videos that I made 7 years ago about how to do Super Metroid tricks. Just like explaining how to
they've
do
got to be
certain
way better.
techniques. From 5,000, 7,000,
like legitimate. So I've looked into stuff recently.
Beginner shit.
I've looked into stuff recently as far as like streams go, and I know like eventually if I find time, like I'm currently streaming most weekdays, trying to find like a good schedule for me. I think I talked about this earlier with you a little bit. Once I cut that down, then I can work on learning how to edit. Maybe, if I don't go crazy before then and have to get a job or something. But learning how to edit a little bit and then making some how-to videos about really dumb stuff that might just do well because how-to videos are just like you literally just like if you make a video like, oh, look at this awesome quick kill on this boss compared to a slowed down version of the same video where you don't even have to do anything different, just slow it down, audibly explain what you're doing. Like, which one of those is going to do
critical moments and stuff?
like literally
If you need help learning how to do the editing thing, hit me up.
How-to is the way to be on fucking YouTube. As far as I know. I mean, even your story, it adds up. You're like, I made these how to do this trick, and it's like fucking up there. Mind you, I did a fucking 7th place speedrun, and nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah, dude. That's like again, we were talking about. Do I read? Like, I read how to do things. Nobody reads how to do things anymore. They just look it up on YouTube.
They fucking how-to it. They how-to the shit.
How do I change a light bulb? Look it up on YouTube. How do I change the headlight in my whatever? Look it up on YouTube. It's there. I promise.
All right, so now is a perfect time to segue into audience questions. If anybody else has any extra audience questions to ask, now would be the time to put them in. And then we got a couple extra questions after this, and then we have Sell Your Stream, which is not the same as unmasking, which I forgot to tell you. Sell Your Stream is not unmasking. I know I'm saying that out loud, but I one time I'm like, sell your stream to me, and somebody just goes into the whole thing, and I'm like, fucked up. This ain't it. This ain't it at all. So I need to mark that.
I'm ready.
All right. So, what questions do we have today? I know Siege had a really good one that he didn't end up redeeming, so I wish I remembered it. It was something about a Metroidvania game. Excuse me. Anyway, I guess this is similar. So Siegeman asked earlier, has streaming ever ruined any gaming for you?
Nothing that the game didn't already ruin. I'm sure people are familiar with XCOM, top-down strategy, shoot aliens game. There was a game that came out shortly after that called Phoenix Point, and like all the trailers and everything made it look so dope, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be excellent. So I got it, like I pre-ordered it. I was fucking so psyched about it, and I streamed it like starting playing it, and the game's fucking awful. Like, they changed some mechanics for the better, but most of the changes I think were just really, really bad. So, has streaming ever changed? Made me not like gaming? No. The game itself did it in that point. So from that point on, I don't ever do that. I don't ever stream a game that I've never played before, unless I just know for a fact that it's going to be good.
I think that, as far as I'm concerned, I've had a couple of. I allow spoilers and backseatings, and I appreciate it. And then there are the people that just literally are just like, if you walk on the wrong screen, they're like, no. And I'm just like, okay, dude, we're going to draw the line here. I don't mind you telling me what's going on, but at the same time, if I'm going to check this fucking room that you wouldn't usually walk in if you're doing a speedrun, shut the fuck up and leave me alone. Chrissy Mack would like to know, what you drinking?
I mentioned it earlier, but for anybody that wasn't here, basically our local grocery store has like it's not a whole aisle or anything, but it's a refrigerated section with like it's like I don't know, 10 feet long, as tall as me, full of all kinds of different local beers, and you can build your own six pack for $10. Which a $10 six pack is like, damn, it's kind of steep. But when it comes to craft local beers, if you buy one six pack of one beer, it's going to be $8 or $9 anyway. So I get to go through there and like pick out, I pick at least one beer that I know I already love, but then I want to try new stuff too. So I got this guy here. I don't know if the green screen's going to mess it up. It's a Houston beer right there. It's called Crush City.
It was beautiful. Is this a Publix?
No, it's HEB. In Texas, we have HEB, and HEB is the shit. But Publix is similar. Actually, I got family in Tennessee, and they have Publix also. But yeah, that's what I've been drinking on tonight. I switched to seltzer beer for now, just to get some little bit of water back in me.
I'll be the first person to
build
admit
your own
that
six packs. Beautiful thing.
I thought build your own six packs was just a Wegmans thing. It's not even like a novel idea apparently, and I just thought it was like something Wegmans, because it's the only place around me that I know that has it is Wegmans.
Apparently, it's a trend.
The trend apparently. I'm drinking Vizzy Hard Seltzer, which is like White Claw but sweeter.
Moved on to that as well.
You have Truly.
Cheers.
Truly. Oh man, I fucking wish I could remember what it is. If anybody has any more questions, now would be the time. Fuck it. It was something great. It was a great question. And it's like too far back in chat, and now I'm super sad because it was so good. It was something about Metroidvanias, and now I don't remember. Oh man. Oh, yeah. So it's like, is Metroidvania? Maybe it was something like this. I think it was something along these lines. Are Metroidvanias good for streaming? If so, why or why not?
No, yeah, I mean, if it's a game that you enjoy and you do well, then it's good for streaming, period. Again, like, music's got to be good, in my opinion, but that also just what makes a good game. So, I have played some Super Metroid hacks where I just got, like, totally lost. I'm just, like, wandering around trying to find, like, that one block that you need to bomb to get through to the next area or whatever. And at that point, it gets pretty stale. Nobody wants to sit there and watch me just be lost for an hour. So,
see, that's the whole thing with that's the back to that backseating and spoiler thing. The reason why I allow it, because it's like in the situation where I'm lost, I want people to know, like, yeah, help me. It's just I don't want to, like, and it's fucking hilarious too, because sometimes you'll get somebody who's like, here's my hand, hold it, let's go, and then they'll just leave and they won't even follow or nothing. You're just like, you're a weird type of person. I had this happen when I was playing the original Legend of Zelda. I had somebody walk me through the first half of the game. For 40% of it, it was good. For 60%, I was just like, okay, dude, chill. I've never seen them again. I will never see them again. And I just had this thought after. I was just like, are these really people who just sit there and try to, like, they just want to walk through everybody through the fucking first Legend of Zelda, and they don't, like,
follow that game. They saw a dude that's playing it, and they saw a moment where they could just come in and flex.
It was just like, oh, there's a bush you can burn here, and I'm just like, okay.
There's moments where, like, if I'm playing a game for the first time, and if I'm just straight up stuck, then I will ask for help.
So that's my thing about that's the reason why I like to stream Metroidvanias, though. And in some ways, so Zeldas aren't Metroidvanias, but in some ways, they're not Metroidvanias because the way it's not like a diverse pathway. So the reason why what makes the Metroidvania different is because you can use your multiple tricks that you created maybe to get through an obstacle that was created for another trick. Like in fucking Hollow Knight, if I have a wall jump and a dash, a lot of the time I can get through an area with a double jumper. Sometimes if I can,
There's more than one way to
if I can
solve
double
that
jump, if I
issue.
can double jump and dash, I don't need the wall jump. Whereas in the Zelda game, it's like if you don't have the raft, you're fucked. Like if you don't have the ladder, you can't get through an area, you know. So like, like I wanted to be like, I see how these are almost Metroidvanias, and I was just like, well, kinda, because of the way the map works. Like Dungeon 2 is
Breath of
like,
the Wild. Breath of the Wild is just like that too. Have you ever seen people do like certain shrines? It's just like, what? I was doing it like the intended way this whole time, and you just did this in 10 seconds.
it's like,
It's just crazy.
I think with a couple of Zeldas, I've realized like how much it's opened by one or two things, and but like other things, it's just like, oh, okay, you can't do this yet. I think the first Zelda had like, you didn't get the ladder, you can't go through 2 dungeons. You can go through others probably, but specifically these 2 dungeons, just go fuck yourself because it's not happening.
Game just sprints
No,
across the screen.
it's
Go fuck
literally
yourself.
like in order to progress through the dungeon, there's a water line, like one tile water line, and they're like, it's literally like, okay, do you have this ladder? Nope. So what happened was I tried to replay the game. I got to Dungeon 4, which is where you get the ladder. Didn't know
But
you
this
got.
is NES. There wasn't like, was there like some NPC that told you, oh, hey, you need a ladder to cross these things?
No,
You don't know shit.
nope.
Got nothing.
So I thought Dungeon 4 didn't have the ladder. I thought Dungeon 2 or 3 did. So then I left the dungeon. I didn't even check for the ladder in the dungeon. And I eventually got pissed off, and I was asking Falcon. He was streaming. I was like, so I thought I could beat this game by the time we were done. Can't find the ladder. He's like, oh, it's in Dungeon 4, and I hate everything. Siegeman would like to know, what about Metroidvania spoke to you more than other games?
All right. So first of all, um, again, Super Nintendo, one of the best systems ever made. Super Metroid, one of the best games ever made. So there's like recurring elements within Metroidvanias. I don't need to go over all of it. Like, I'm a part of a Metroidvania Facebook group, and there's always arguments about what's Metroidvania and what isn't. So we're not going to go down that route. One thing that everybody can kind of agree on is backtracking is involved. So one of the best things about Metroidvanias is finding out, seeing that obstacle and just be like, okay, if it's a high jump situation, like, if the ledge is here, you can only jump this high. It's pretty obvious what needs to happen. You need a high jump boots or a grapple or something along those lines. So you just like file that away in your mind. It's a bit of a memory exercise. You're like, okay, you finally go get that item. You're like, okay, where was that spot? Where was that spot that I knew that I could pass? Now I think I have the thing that's needed to get through there. So it's a memory exercise. It's recognizing the spots that require upgrades, things like that. And then the third part is absolutely coming back to those other starting areas when you're just all kinds of, you've gotten a shitload of upgrades and you can just go back and just annihilate all those enemies that killed you earlier on. You're like, oh, hey, look at you guys. Remember all those deaths you handed me? And they just like can't do anything to you. You just get to go back through the starting areas and just wreck everybody. There's those are a few elements of Metroidvanias that make them appealing to me. Oh, and then there's sequence breaking. It's like, oh, that high jump that's supposed to be needed to get up here. There's ways around that. There's several of those in Axiom Verge, and breaking the sequence is very, it's fun. It's very gratifying.
I think that the sequence breaking is one of my favorites because there's a lot of them in Hollow Knight, and obviously I like Hollow Knight. I mentioned it a couple times today, but I think sequence breaking is really cool because, as I said, a combination of 2 things might get you through one other thing that you could have done otherwise.
For Metroid, there's like just wall jumping. You can sequence break just like that.
So I mean, so to be fair though, wall
required.
jumping is weird because they they sort of teach you how to do it like later in the game if you find the spot or whatever. But the wall jumping does a lot. Like
Yeah, like
it
when they
gets you
built the game,
places.
I don't think they spent a whole lot of time testing it. Like nowadays, I think they just hand shit like that off to a team of speedrunners, and they're like, "Oh, watch us break your game in 48 hours."
They honestly like they do sometimes pretty quick. Kind of scary. Um, are there any moving back on to the streaming questions? Are there any big Twitch controversies that, excuse me, sorry, impacted your stream or really caught your attention?
Um, no, not really. I mean, the one that may have impacted my stream was, the whole DMCA thing when Twitch started getting as policed or as close to policed as YouTube is about, playing music on your stream. I used to do streams where I would just play through Final Fantasy X and like just regular casual playthroughs, and we'd just jam music. I would take, um, music suggestions from my viewers and stuff, and like we're sharing music. I'm playing shit that I like. My viewers are like, "Oh, check this out! Check out this music." And the only rules were no mumble rap and no country, and we're good. And so like I got to hear a lot of stuff that I would probably never hear ever, and my viewers probably did the same. But all the VODs got muted and stuff like that, and that there was just a lot that was all in the news about DMCA's and people getting strikes on their account and stuff. So I was like, all right, well, we can't do that no more. And but I don't know, it's to be expected. YouTube did that a long time ago. It was only a matter of time.
See, I was the same way where like I had added some Futurama sound effects that would probably still not get me DMCA'd right now, but I was just like, I want to be safe. So even though like I wouldn't consider that to have affected me massively, but it definitely like so I just had a couple fun ones like from Futurama, something Bender said, something the professor said, whatever. They were, one that was like our policy is if you don't like it, we hate you. I just thought it was hilarious.
Which is just like, oh, it's real easy. If you don't own that content, then don't use it. Well, you don't get it. Like, we don't make video games. We're playing these games. Some of these strikes that people are getting is just from the background music in the game itself. Like, what
See
the hell?
that's where as I said, I don't think it impacted me terribly, but as far as like that goes, that's just like if you like like the
It's a little ridiculous.
The Kingdom Hearts game comes out um for the music in the game. There was a like Kingdom Hearts melody game. It's like, oh well, people are getting their this and that song muted, and it's just like, alrighty. So it's funny too because Kingdom Hearts music is like one of those musics that people like always considered like, oh, I just put it on safe. It's a good soundtrack, and then all of a sudden it's like a Kingdom Hearts game can't even like play with an unmuted VOD of a Kingdom. Like that's where it's just so like maybe I could see it in San Andreas or something, or like a
Oh
Grand Theft
yeah,
Auto, where like the music plays actual songs like on
yeah.
the
It's
radio.
not
So
part
I
of
could
the original soundtrack
like I
made for the
get
game.
that, but at the same time, the freaking like if a game is a music game based off of a series and it plays a song from the series, come on, what are your
And
feelings?
like, if that's the case, if this game is just full of music that's going to be DMCA'd, then Twitch just needs to blacklist the game, and don't let people stream it, and so that nobody gets boned.
What are your feelings about
Those are my
ads
thoughts.
on Switch? No, I agree. Just don't let people stream it because then you don't get fucked. Then Twitch doesn't get fucked. Then the streamer doesn't get fucked. I think like unintentionally getting screwed over for no reason is like one of the things that like most people who stream worry about. One.
Honestly, I'm fine with ads on Twitch. If that helps streamers get paid, then so be it. But I can see the breakdown when I get my statement or whatever, and it's like, a couple bucks comes from
Oh yeah,
ads.
I mean
So
I
like
think so. The thing
somebody's
about
getting paid. It
the thing
ain't
about
me.
me, the thing about me for ads is I think ads are fine. I think it's the culture on Twitch that is the culture is unokay with ads. And I remember like listening to a very long YouTube video that explained like why Twitch has ads and how like it's people either one don't believe or just don't care. Like the fact that Twitch is actually a negative income company because of XYZ, even though they take half of subs and stuff. But like I tried to switch to a little bit while, and I still do it sometimes where it's like if I go to the bathroom, I'll run an ad. I tried to switch to like I'm gonna do scheduled ads. But like the quote, it's funny too because the quote bounce rate for ads is so crazy. When a new person comes in, it's like there's like a crazy percentage chance. I want to say between 30 and 50% chance that they come in, they see an ad, they immediately leave, they don't even check out your content, which is weird because you're getting a fucking ad. That's what kills me about it.
They probably haven't been on Twitch for very long because that's just how it works. And like, have y'all not seen YouTube? That's exactly how that works as well. Hell, Facebook does the same thing.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
everywhere except for Twitch does it, but for some reason Twitch is the only place where people are just like, it's not allowed.
if you don't like the ads, then subscribe. You don't have to see the ad even when the streamer chooses to run one. You can see that be right back screen instead.
What is a tip you would give to yourself for when you started streaming?
Make more time, be more consistent. That's always been my issue.
Yeah, it's hard though. Like even I try. You mentioned like me streaming more, like finding time to stream. Hard. Like I feel like I'm like the perpetual like late guy. I'm the perpetual like I gotta push the stream back or we're gonna reschedule. I'm always that guy, and I don't even know. I don't with kids and life and everything. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be the this is my scheduled time. This is when I'm starting guy.
And if you try to do it, something is going to happen. Like, okay, I'm going to stream every Thursday. Every Thursday at 8:00 p.m., I'm going to be on stream. And then something is going to happen. And then it's like, oh, where were you? Where were you, man? And it's like, I decided, I guess, at some point that, like, I didn't want to be stuck to any kind of, for anybody's there, they're like, oh, when's your next stream going to be? I'm like, fucking, this coming Saturday, maybe Tuesday at 3 p.m. I don't know. If it happens, it's just going to happen, and that's how it's going to have to be for a while now.
Great.
That's all I can do.
Why don't you take this moment? I'm going to step away for 20 seconds. Take this moment to sell your stream to us, Journey, okay? Why should we come to a Journeyman stream?
Well, no, that's the thing. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to sell shit. I've seen this a lot, and a lot of people are like so hungry for fame, if you will. They're like willing to do just about anything on stream to get views or subs or follows and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm not about it. I'm not gonna sell myself. I'm not gonna be like, "What's up, baby? What you doing? Come on, you looking for a date?" No, I'm not here to sell myself. I've been there. I did commercials and shit when I was a kid. Like the best advice they give, they're like, "Oh, you gotta sell yourself to the director. You gotta sell yourself to the audience." And like, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that in this setting. I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna play video games to the best of my ability. And, dude, come by and kick it. Come by and kick it. That's all. That's all there is to it. I'm not gonna put on. I'm trying not to say some of the silly shit that I've seen some people do on their streams to try to get views and follows and all this and that. So, but I don't want to put anybody on blast, so I'm not gonna talk about this. But there's people that are like, "Oh, if I get 50 subs, I will swim with a bunch of sharks and shit." Like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. No, I'm not trying to sell you nothing. All I want you to do is just come by and hang out and have a good time. That's it. And if you got channel points you want to spend, you can play some cool sound effects during my stream. That's about it. I'm not gonna sell you a damn thing. Sell you a Ford Taurus? I could, Falcon. Do you know what the Ford, the new model, like let's say a 2014, 2015 Ford Taurus SHO, twin turbo V6, about 350 horsepower, all-wheel drive. It will smoke most muscle cars out there. All right. Oh, I just sold you a Ford Taurus.
All right, so Are you ready for the unmasking, your Journeyman?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me get over here, and then let me know when you are ready for me to take off the mask, Journey. Okay?
All right, so I'm seeing the graphic. Go ahead and
Seeing the
remove said
graphic.
mask. Some weird pinwheel showing up there. Okay, there we go. It's gone. All right, yeah. What up? I'm JourneymanB. My real name is Brett. I'm 37, Texas. Yada yada. I refuse to sell myself on stream, but uh, the unmasking part. So let's get down to something that you're not going to hear on stream. I'm not a disciplined man at all. Like I did not grow up with a lot of discipline at all. Um, Mostly grew up with like a single mother, and she was busy as hell. Like she was a real estate agent. She worked from home, and was out on the road selling houses and stuff. So like I was left like mostly to myself. Same thing with my brother and sister. So like I don't know, there just wasn't a lot of discipline in my house. It's like affected my life, I guess you could say, but not so much in a negative way. Like I don't know, if there's something that I really really want bad enough, I'm gonna work for it. I'm gonna, I've learned enough. I've been like four-ish most of my life, so I know that I have to work for shit, and I will do so. But I also don't have the discipline to do things like sell the stream. Like, I'm not gonna. Again, I don't want to say things people have done on stream to get views. But I'm not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. I work for everything that I have. I work hard for it, but I'm not gonna swim with a bunch of sharks just because you sent $5 to Twitch and they gave me half of it. Um, and also, if I'm playing a game and I fucking hate it, then I'm not gonna do that either because I don't have that kind of discipline. I'm not gonna continue to do things that I fucking hate if it's not enriching my life. If I work a job and that's a shit job and you're not paying me well and you're treating me like shit, I'm gone. I don't have that kind of discipline. Um, Geez, what other examples exist of not having discipline? I guess the stream thing as well. Like, could I keep grinding? Could I keep doing it? And work 50 hours a week and stream and do family stuff? Could I do that? Yeah, probably. But like the efficiency of each of those actions is going to be degraded. Which one's going to take the loss? Is my stream going to suck a little more? Am I going to, is my family time going to be less worthwhile because I'm tired as hell? Am I going to be slacking at work because I'm trying to do seven fucking things all at once? No, let's not half-ass several things. Let's whole-ass the things that matter. And then when time allows, I'm going to get back into streaming. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long, but shit's been crazy. Spending time with my family. I've been working 40, 50-hour weeks and drinking a lot to try to cope with it. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So that like a lot of people during this unmasking moment, they're like, come to me and talk to me about any life problems that you have and stuff like that. If you got me on DM on Discord, feel free to do so. Don't come on my stream with that shit though. Don't come on my stream with like, oh, I feel so bad about myself, and I need to feel validation on your stream and like get validated from all your viewers and stuff. Don't do that shit on my stream. No, if you're a friend of mine, hit me up direct, and it will have my full attention. Sorry, that turned into a rant. I apologize.
No. Perfect. That was amazing, Journey. I appreciate it. Fuck. My brain. Okay, my brain's not working. There was something I wanted. Oh, the drinking thing. Yeah, that's me. That's this guy. This guy right here. I'm trying to cope with all the fuckery. By the way. So thank you so much for the interview, Journey. You're amazing. I feel like every different person I get on here is so different in a wonderful way. Because everybody, I mean, it's the whole point though, right? Everybody has such different life experiences and stuff that we don't always get into on Twitch because, I mean, what are we here for? Like, we're usually here for to play Hollow Knight or to do a Lunar speed run, right?
Yeah, and just like that was my guts. I just like dumped my guts all over your stream. So appreciate everybody hanging out and the questions
I appreciate it,
saying what's
Journey.
up.
Also, by the way, shout out to Journey who taught me a new thing about green screens that I'm definitely going to be using because I've been having issues with mine. He turned me on to some settings that should be hopefully upgrade the stream. So shout out to you for that because that was pretty cool. I would never have known. There's like different. I listen, like that was just there's like different colors for every green screen. Mine's not the right color. Today it's behaving. The last stream I had, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was like it was all fuzzy over here. Now mine's not fuzzy and yours isn't fuzzy over there. But
No.
But definitely thank you for coming on. It was an amazing podcast. The one thing I will say to you before you go is that I've been giving the honor of selecting who we raid to the guest. I'm going to do a tiny couple-minute segment after that, so you get to pick who we raid. Just put it in chat, and I will make sure we raid that person. Okay, Journey?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. Thank you for the, like, honestly, just thank you so much. It was awesome. Love getting to know you better, and I realize I don't always have time to sit in somebody's stream and get to know, or even just chat. So much appreciated, sir.
It's like part of the issue because like we're all streamers as well, so
yeah, like we all
got our own
a
streams
million things going on. So unfortunately, with that,
thanks for the opportunity. If anybody is not following me yet and would like to, no promises on when the next stream's going to be, but it's probably going to be cool. So yeah,
definitely go check Journey out. Super cool dude. If you love RPGs and you love RPG speedruns, or if you love Axiom Verge, which you remember the community, go check them out. So I'm just gonna unfortunately, I love you, Journey. It's been a great interview, but